Hey guys, Darth Gork here, back with part 2 of our Highway of Blossoms Next Exit playthrough. So last time, we reunited with Amber, Marina, and company. And we learned that although things are mostly happy, there's some weird tension brewing with Amber and Marina. And what's up with that? And then we also learned that Tess might be severely depressed. Also, what's up with that? So some interesting things there. Anyway, so we're going to be pressing right in. But before we do, as far as updates go, there's something you should be aware of. So you might notice that my audio sounds different. Ideally, sounds clearer. So a couple of things. I did talk about this in today's Fallout part, but I will be re-mentioning it here. So I noticed that in my audio, you can hear my fan. It was very obvious to me yesterday when I was editing this part 1 of this game, because it's very loud. It's very loud. So because of it, I had to mute anytime I wasn't speaking. I had to mute my audio. So editing that video took forever, because I had to go for every single time a character spoke in the game, I had to mute my audio. So it's a big pain in the butt and very, very annoying. So so what I've done is I've started working on my audio. So I have adjusted my audio now and turned everything down. I turned my mic sensitivity down. I turned all the games down because honestly, I was using my old settings. Back when I used to, I was using everything default, and at first I didn't really want to rock the boat because I knew it worked and I was a little nervous about doing it, but I finally decided, look, this is not good quality and it's really annoying to me, so I want to do a better job. Now, that being said, there's going to be more adjustments in the future because I finally bought myself a real desk. Very excited for that. The thing I use now, it's fine, but very crowded, and it's not a good permanent setup. Well, I finally bought myself a desk, and it should be here by this weekend. So this weekend, my goal is to get my new desk set up, get my computer over there, and then there's lots of rearrangement going on my end. One of the issues is I can't get very close to any of my stuff with my desk, with my current setup. I'm kind of far away. So the problem with that is, especially for Xbox, and with PC it's not so bad because my mic is right here and I'm a lot closer. But on Xbox I'm like, I don't know, I'm like a foot and a half away or something. Like, I'm quite a ways away. And so I'm a little nervous, but after my new setup, there won't be anything underneath. So I can scoot in real close and be closer to my actual microphone, which means that there will probably be more adjustments in the future. But at least for now, I'm hoping this will tide us over, and then we'll see where we're sitting, and there might be more adjustments. But regardless, it's a give and take. It's a trial and error type of deal. So I'm looking forward to it, though. I'm hoping that it will greatly increase my quality, and maybe you will be able to hear my fan a lot less. And if that's the case, maybe I can get away with making editing a lot easier, because currently it's a big pain in the butt for games like this that have lots of moments where I have to be I'm quiet. So, but I also do have a Snapple in front of me because I need lots of liquid nearby so I can drink so my voice stays nice and fresh. And today's Snapple fact, real fact number 720. Fresh apples float because 25% of their volume is air. Now you know. Anyway, I also hopped in here, adjusted this. I turned the music down by 10 more percent. The voices were already jacked. Ambience volume was at 0. I don't know what ambience is, or like why it was at 0. So if I notice anything weird in the audio, I might turn that back down to 0. But I put it at 50%, unsure why it was at 0 to begin with. This was at 60%. I dropped it to 50, and we'll see about that. But I was thinking that while I was doing yesterday, one of the things I've noticed is how loud the music is in comparison, because some of the voice parts is very quiet. So we'll get that fixed. Regardless, though, let's finally jump into it. I think that's all of our actual business out of the way. So here's hoping. Okay. You know what? Because I'm at my actual desk and I'm closer to my mic, I can sit Indian style in my beautiful chair. That's my favorite way to sit in this chair, specifically. Anyway, I'm really hoping my new audio settings are not garbage, but we'll see. Marina and I showed up to Sweet Tooth bright and early. Me as awake as ever, Marina still complaining about how early it is. When we knock on the door, Cassie swiftly lets us in.
Wow, I kinda didn't expect you guys to really show up. When Amber sets her mind on something, there's no stopping her. You two are both lifesavers, honestly. I've been here for a few hours already.
Are you running this thing solo?
Yep, just me. My recipes, my decorations, all of it's mine. I should have done some of this stuff days ago, but you know how that is. What are we making? Candy? Nah, the candy's all finished. We're gonna make crispy rice treats. Come on, we'll use the main kitchen.
She guides us through the dark store. I think we'll stick with the theme. I think we'll always go with Marina, and then we at the very end we could use the skip feature, go back through and check out Amber's point of view on this stuff. So we're gonna go with Marina, because at least that way it'll be easy to.
Make sure you guys wash your hands.
Sorry about that, Cassie. But at least that way it'll be easy to go back the other way, you know. Anyway, she said make sure you guys wash your hands, but that's what she said. The kitchen we're in is super professional. There's all kinds of scary looking equipment with dials and knobs and sensors. All of it's made of shiny metal like we're already on a UFO. I guess that would explain how I ended up in Bizarro Land with Bizarro Amber. As if waking up before the sun does isn't bad enough, it's for the sake of this random girl that Amber barely knows. Okay, sure, it's not like Amber hasn't ever helped out random girls before, but it's so rare that I can't help but feel like the alarm bells in my own head are going off. Whatever, Marina, it's just one day. You could put up with Amber being insensitive for a day, right? I already know that I can, of course. I've done that for a lot of days. Ouch.
Ever made these before?
Nope, never. You?
Tons of times. I'm a pro at these.
And I'm going to make the best freaking batch of my life, I add in my head. No way am I going to let myself get shown up here.
Oh, really? Do you eat them all yourself?
If Amber's a pro at anything, it's always finding ways to tease me.
I wish. They're a crowd pleaser when you've got a family full of little kids.
Quick pause. No. There we go. Maybe we'll put this at 35, because I'm just guessing. Do you think ambient noise is like the sizzling? You know? Maybe. Ah, there we go. You see that giant dip in the noise there? So ambience is like the background stuff. So I have that one now at 35. That's a way better split there, I think. I think we'll try that.
So, what you're saying is, I should leave it all to you.
No way. You're the one who signed us up for this.
I know she's just kidding, but it still stings, because it's basically proof that she doesn't really want to be doing this either.
Hey, it's just helping out a friend.
I can't help but glare over at Cassie, making sure she's not listening. Cassie's not a bad person, I don't think. She's probably got no idea how I'm feeling over here. Doesn't change the fact that things would be a lot easier right now if she didn't exist.
A friend. Amber, you've known her for like 2 minutes.
Enough times for our entire trip to get rebuilt around her, though.
That's about how long I knew you when I let you in the RV.
Those are like totally different things.
They are, right? I was stuck on the side of the road and probably would have died of heat stroke in like an hour if Amber hadn't showed up. And then from there, it wasn't like Amber had anything else going on. She didn't have a girlfriend who was already struggling to be good enough. Yikes. All I wanted to do was see Tess and spend time with Amber. Is that too much to ask?
Sorry, I thought it'd be fun for us both.
I sigh. At this point, we're committed. Or at least I am. May as well try to make the best of it, right?
Well, it can still be fun. Come on. Cassie's probably wondering why it's taking us so long to wash our hands.
Interesting. We join Cassie at the long counter and put on the clear plastic gloves that she hands us. She starts doling out supplies, pots and pans, utensils, ingredients. There are already a few pans of stuff boiling on a stove.
Thanks again for helping out. Seriously, I mean it. Let me know if there's anything I can do to make it up to you. Once we're done here, I can drive us to the con. Does that work?
I glance at Marina, who shrugs.
Sure. Beats having to park the RV at a casino.
An RV, huh? And you met while driving? I'm guessing there's a good story in here somewhere, right? It's kind of an unbelievable one, really. Like, if someone told me it happened to them, I'd think they were lying. Okay, now I've gotta know.
A few months ago, did you ever hear about this journal?
Ah, the story. Ah, yes, the good old flashback. At first we try to keep it brief, but Cassie makes it clear that she wants the whole story. So we start with the first piece of treasure and go from there. Marina and I take turns talking and fill in the blanks when the other starts to stumble or forgets a detail. When we talk, Cassie finishes the prep. While we talk, Cassie finishes the prep work. That includes moving the stuff from the stove into trays to cool. Then she starts to set up new stations for us to make treats. Other than occasionally asking for clarification on something, she doesn't ever interrupt. I finish up the story from our arrival back at Las Vegas just yesterday. When I'm done, Cassie looks at me, then at Marina, then shakes her head.
Wow. That's really all I can say. Wow. Told you it was pretty unbelievable. Yeah, you sure did. I was expecting you to be high school sweethearts who eloped or something. Not a John Wayne movie. Everyone's been talking about the gold, the journal, the people who found it. My boss even wanted to do some promo event where we'd have gold-plated chocolate bars to capitalize on the hype. And here you are, helping me out. It's pretty surreal.
It's been one surreal moment after another for us. You get used to them eventually.
Maybe you do. The road sounds a hell of a lot more interesting than things here. This is Las Vegas, though. It's one of the most famous cities in the world. How's that not interesting? I guess when you live here, you get used to it. Besides, the Las Vegas that people dream about is a scam. Fool's gold, pretty much.
That's the way all cities are. They sound nicer from the outside until you're there and have to deal with the traffic and the people.
Amber, a girl after my own heart.
You have to excuse Amber. Sometimes she forgets how to have fun.
I'm just saying. I'll bet even Carlsbad sounds interesting when you're not from there.
Hey, I can see it both ways. I moved out here because I thought it would be a lot different than what it is. Turns out the Las Vegas they try to sell you on TV isn't real.
Then she starts making a chopping motion with her hands, starting to bustle around once more.
Right, well, famous treasure hunters or not, let's make some treats.
She ushers us over to one of the counters, where there are a few grocery bags full of supplies. At a glance, I can see marshmallows, butter, and crisp rice cereal. There's a lot of each. There's also a precarious stack of pans and utensils, plus a few boxes of plastic wrap. Finally, there are a few portable single-burner stoves. All in all, it looks like something someone dumped off here and said, "Not my problem" about.
If you want, I can walk you through how to do it.
Before I can even respond or accept the heavy pan that Cassie's offering me, Marina cuts across and snatches it from her.
It's okay, I can show her.
For a second, Cassie looks a little taken aback, as if we all don't know exactly why Marina did that. Like she didn't expect to be challenged, but she shrugs.
Sure thing.
Cassie scoops up. Oh god, the music just hard stopped. Different mood. Alright, we're still good. That's still jolly. Cassie scoops up a few things from the bags and then slides one of these stoves further down the counter. Marina grabs supplies as well, doubling up on everything. Marina squeezes past me and turns on the burner, setting the heavy pan on top of it. She then unwraps and drops a couple of sticks of butter in.
First things first. You gotta melt these.
Right.
Here, chop it up. It'll make it go faster.
She hands me a knife, which I grip like a caveman and use it to hack at the softening butter. The butter melts slowly, even though the flame underneath it is blazing brightly. While we wait, Marina starts to set up her own station a few feet away from mine. Soon it's become a thick pool. Marina hands me a bag of marshmallows.
Add these in slowly and stir them so that they'll melt.
The whole bag?
2 bags, actually.
My teeth hurt just thinking about eating one of these.
If you say so.
I do.
I pull hard, trying to tear open the bag, and eventually resort to using my teeth. That makes it split open, and a couple of marshmallows bounce onto the counter and the floor. I bend down to pick them up.
5-second rule.
Horrified, Marina bats them out of my hand again.
Ew, no, gross!
Those marshmallows are gonna come out of your paycheck.
Uh-huh. Just fire me in that case.
I lightly bounce a clean marshmallow off of Marina's forehead.
Dork.
She wordlessly tosses it into the trash with the ones from the floor.
Marshmallows. Pan. Now.
Yes, ma'am.
I pour the marshmallows into the pan with the butter, where they almost immediately start to bubble and dissolve. Marina's still working on her butter, stirring it even though it's all fully melted.
What are you waiting on? Christmas?
It's my secret technique.
Burning it?
This time she throws a marshmallow at me.
That one comes out of your paycheck.
I head back to my pan where the marshmallows have mostly morphed into a stingy paste. It clings to my spatula when I try to mix.
Are you sure we should add a second bag? This is pretty thick as it is.
Yes, I'm sure.
I do as she says and dump the second bag of marshmallows in. The pan is getting pretty full and I have to be very careful with my movements to avoid spilling any. Meanwhile, Marina's just now adding her first bag of marshmallows to the butter. On my other side, Cassie is pouring a bag of rice cereal into her own pan. She holds it steady with one hand while she mixes the concoction with the other.
So, Cassie, how'd you end up in Las Vegas?
It was a couple years ago now. Had a fight with my dad and left home. Couch surfed for a while, a day or two here, a month or so there. But I got sick of that and decided to settle down somewhere. I came out here because it felt fitting, in a dumb kid romantic way. Like you said, it's Las Vegas. It's all about luck and good fortune, jackpots or busts. I thought that maybe I'd find some purpose or meaning out here. Figured out pretty quickly that life doesn't work like that. At least, not that easy. But I decided that since I came all the way out here that I may as well stay. Got a job at Sweet Tooth because I figured it'd be better working around something I care about than something I don't. And now, here I am.
Cassie sets down the bowl she was using and inspects my and Marina's progress. She nods approvingly.
Looking good. Go ahead and add in the cereal and let's move over here.
We do what we're told, and we group at one of the clean counters, where Cassie is waiting with several colorful jars and some plastic brushes.
You kids ready for crafts time?
We've still gotta frost these suckers.
I pour mine into a large dish like Cassie did. Marina is still a couple minutes behind, mixing in her second bag of marshmallows. I carry the dish over and set it beside Cassie's. She hands me a knife.
So go ahead and try to cut these into ovals. It's okay if they're not perfect.
She carves at her own batch like she's cutting a particularly tough steak, with a constant back and forth motion. She goes slowly, trying to keep the line straight. The curve is tough, but she manages to pull it off. Half a minute later, she plucks out a piece.
It's kind of an oval, I guess.
That's stretching the truth. It's more like a triangle.
Close enough. Go ahead and shove one of these in there.
She takes a popsicle stick and rams it into the treat. Then she pops open one of the jars of frosting.
Dunk 'em.
She jams the treat in as far as it'll go until the frosting covers the whole thing. When she pulls it back out, a bit of excess drips back into the jar.
Give 'em a once-over with the knife.
Deftly, she scrapes and spreads the frosting until it's smooth. While she's doing that, Marina joins us with her own tray.
That smells really good.
For some reason, Marina's having a different, richer smell than the stuff Cassie and I made.
I know. I told you it's my secret technique.
What is it?
If I told you, it wouldn't be a secret anymore, now would it?
I just stare at her.
Okay, fine. If you brown the butter for a long time, it turns them super good.
Before she can protest, I use the knife Cassie gave me to pry off a tiny bit from Marina's cooling mixture and pop it in my mouth.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
It's rich and caramely, almost like toffee. It definitely puts mine to shame. I can see Marina's struggle with yelling at me for stealing and being happy with the praise. She settles for a smug nod.
Can I try?
Marina begrudgingly cuts off a small piece and hands it to Cassie, who handles it as gently as a lump of gold. Marina watches intently as Cassie tastes it.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
Thanks.
Despite herself, I could tell Marina's struggling not to smile and appear nonchalant.
Okay, now that me and Amber have been put to shame, last step.
She rattles a bag of chocolate pieces that are shaped into like thin discs.
Take a couple of these bad boys and stick them on before the frosting dries.
2 of the discs get popped in for the eyes. She also breaks off the corner of a third disc and attaches that as the mouth.
And voila! It's good enough, and that's what counts.
It isn't perfect, but it's definitely a passable alien. For the final step, she mummifies it in plastic wrap and then tosses it into a large plastic bin.
Now we've just got to do this like 50 more times.
With our directions clear, all 3 of us get to work. It's fairly tough cutting through the marshmallow mess, which has already cooled and solidified by a lot. I have to frequently change my angle or repeatedly stab a spot with a knife, A lot like when we were digging for treasure, Cassie also starts to melt the butter for another batch of treats. I finally managed to cut out a rough alien head shape from my tray. If Cassie's first one was kind of triangular, mine is even farther from the target. I don't think they even have a proper name for the shape, it's just a blob. The popsicle stick step is easy, but when I try dipping it into the frosting, only a little bit sticks. I pull it out and try again, but still can't get more than a third of it or so covered. Cassie, who's watching me, shrugs.
Don't worry about it. It's close enough.
You've got a pretty generous definition of close.
It's abstract arts or something. How do we know aliens don't really look like that?
Good point.
I press in the eyes and a small mouth and then set it aside to be wrapped.
How are yours going?
I hover over Marina's shoulder, and this time she doesn't wave me away. She's just finished frosting hers, leaving an artistic unfrosted spot near the neck. Using her fingernails, she snaps the chocolate discs into jagged eye shapes, and then attaches those using one of the scraps for the mouth. She holds it up for me to see.
What do you think?
It's out of this world.
Marina groans as she sets it down next to mine and Cassie's. All three of us huddle together admiring, or in my case, pretending to admire, our handiwork. Cassie whistles in admiration as she picks up Marina's, turning it this way and that to inspect.
This looks great. Good work. You get an A+.
Told you guys. I'm a pro.
Cassie pantomimes, bowing in recognition of Marina's skill.
Amber, you get
You don't have to say it.
an A for effort?
You're more generous than any teacher I've ever heard of.
It's still one that I don't have to make myself, and that's more than enough. Only 48 left to go.
We get back to it, with Cassie sometimes pouring new batches of cereal mix into the trays for us to work with. It takes longer than I would have expected, but we managed to get them done. Oh, look at that, another of Marina's thoughts. There's a clear hierarchy in terms of skill. Marina's are nearly perfect and would fit in well at a Roswell museum. Good God, Amber. Cassie's are nice, even though the first one looked kind of rough and would fit right in a cookbook or something. Mine will probably be sold at a discount. After we finish wrapping all the treats, we move them all into a plastic bin. Cassie hoists that onto a small rolling cart along with a few other boxes of homemade goodies. The aftermath is impressive. There are a ton of dirty dishes and crumbs littering the counter. Cassie tosses most of the dishes into the sink to soak. Cassie checks the clock.
Looks like we finished just in time, too. We should get to the con right when it opens. Again, thanks a ton, you two.
It was fun.
I'm really glad to hear Marina say that. Sorry, I'm drinking.
Yeah, it was. Although, I get the feeling you could have finished faster without us.
No way, I'd have been at it the rest of the morning. Besides, having good company is just as important as having good health.
That's right.
Let me go dump all this in the van and then we can get going.
I highly recommend Kiwi Strawberry Snapple, by the way. It's delicious. I'm sorry, I was beneath my microphone. She wheels the cart out and away, leaving Marina and I behind. The instant we're alone, Marina yawns, leaning against me.
Sleepy.
Hey, don't fall asleep. We've got a convention to go to. Did you let Tess know we'll be there soon?
She jolts up straight.
Oh, shoot. I'll do that right now.
Marina pulls out her phone and frantically taps out a message.
I hope she sees it.
I'm sure she will. Isn't she pretty much always on her phone?
Yeah, most of the time.
She hasn't responded by the time Cassie returns, this time without the cart.
Ready to go?
Marina grabs my hand.
Ready.
That's right, let's freaking go! We arrive at the convention and lug our supplies to the main room, where all of the booths are set up. Since Cassie's selling, she has a special badge that lets us cut past most of the lines. And to my surprise, there are plenty of those. Apparently aliens are more popular than I thought, because there are at least a few hundred people milling around the convention area. Marina is paying more attention to the phone in her hands.
I can't get a signal at all in here. I want to let Tess know that we're here.
She holds up her phone high in case the frequency she's looking for is right over her head. There are numbers taped to the floor every few feet, marking each vendor's space. Cassie leads us to spot number 33, towards the wall near one of the exits. There's a plain folding table with a canopy provided and not much else.
This is us. Home, sweet home.
Marina and I set the bags and boxes we're carrying onto the floor, while Cassie starts to set up a few folding chairs.
Booth budget is basically 0, which means it's just these and some decorations. Can you two sort out the goods?
On it.
Aside from the treats we made, there are also other baked goods like cookies and brownies, plus there's a variety of homemade candy, which all looks a lot more appealing than the stuff at Sweet Tooth. Marina and I organize them on the table, while Cassie clips the decorations she's made onto the support poles. Once everything is said and done, it looks not that great, if I'm being honest. It's pretty clear that it was mostly a one-woman show. But there's charm to it, and it's not as if there's very stiff competition here either. Most of the other booths selling food, even the biggest ones, look a little plain and uninspiring. Cassie checks and rechecks the stuff for sale, rearranging the layout while talking under her breath.
These here, so they're up front. Cover up these guys who didn't turn out so well.
She moves some of the cookies around so that the prettier ones are in front, and the few that have gotten crumbly around the edges are hidden.
Okay, now these here, or here.
There's a bowl of free samples, and she slides it from corner to corner, trying to find the perfect spot. I think about offering to help, but I decide against it. I'm pretty sure she just needs something to fuss over to distract herself. Even though Marina and I are just tagging along, I have to remind myself that this is a big deal for Cassie. Marina and I leave her to her last-minute preparations while we lean against the wall behind us.
Any luck with Tess?
No, but I still can't get through. I might have to go outside to get reception.
You should just tell her where we are and have her come find us.
What if they don't get here for a while? You weren't planning to spend the whole time at Cassie's booth, were you?
Don't know. I hadn't really thought about it. I figured I'd just follow you.
Is there anything that you want to see while we're here?
Not really.
To me, this kind of hokey tourist stuff is the same no matter where you go. Stick something to a shiny enough package and you can get people to buy anything.
You really don't care, do you?
Sure I do. That's why we're here. But I'm not gonna pretend I'm more excited for it than I am.
More than anything, I wish that Marina would stop bringing it up. She and I both know this isn't the kind of thing I enjoy, but I came anyway. Why isn't that good enough for her? Every time I try to do something for her, it seems to go badly, or maybe it's just never enough. Marina checks her phone again, scowls and sighs.
Sorry, maybe I'm just stressed about Tess. I don't want her to think that I'm ignoring her on her birthday.
I'm sure she'll know. Besides, won't her signal be just as bad as yours?
I guess.
Just then, the PA booms, and a voice announces through the speakers that the convention is officially open for business. Immediately, people start to trickle into the vendors area, not a flood by any means, but a constant crowd. Cassie finally joins us, drumming her fingers against her legs.
Well, here goes everything.
I'm sure it'll go fine. Everything looks really good.
I just hope it's enough.
The first couple of customers walk right past our booth without stopping or even looking over. Cassie watches them go. Most people pass right by without even stopping. A couple of folks browse, but nobody buys anything. Our first sale is to a kid who buys a single lollipop for $1. Cassie very carefully tucks the bill away into a portable cash box that she brought with her.
Hopefully, most people use a credit card because I only have $50 in change.
I'd loan you some of ours, but most of it's still in nugget form.
She laughs.
Hey, not that I'm trying to get rid of you, but you guys don't have to stick around. I don't want to keep you from having fun.
Since Marina is listening, I keep myself from saying anything snarky.
Mare, do you want to go try to find somewhere with better service?
Sure.
I don't want her to miss out on seeing Tess just because she's too stubborn to go alone.
Marina can't text her friend because there's no signal here. So we'll go message her and then maybe walk around a bit. We'll come back though.
Sure, I'll be here. Have fun.
Marina and I leave the booth hand in hand. For once, she puts her phone away.
Let's go out front. You'll probably have better luck there.
We should look around some, too.
Fine by me.
There's a steady stream of people filtering into the convention area now. Of course, it's hard to say if they'd be here even without it. Lots of them look lost or confused by the decorations. Occasionally, we pass by small exhibits featuring photographs of real UFOs or artist recreations of what aliens might look like. Some of the photos are of plain-looking people, along with their written testimonials about being abducted and taken aboard spaceships. In other words, a bunch of crap.
Oh, Amber, check this one out. She says that she got abducted and she fell in love with one of the aliens who captured her. And now he sends her letters from space. Isn't that romantic?
Then again, I guess there's plenty of people who buy into this schmuck. Once Marina's done looking around, we finally make it back outside and then lean against the wall where it's nice and shady.
Any better?
Barely. I've only got one bar. I guess that's good enough.
Surprises me you wouldn't have reception in a major building, you know? I mean, if it's major enough, there's enough concrete in the way that I guess that does affect it. She types out her message and then she glares at her phone. After a moment, she angrily taps it.
Ugh, it doesn't want to send.
I thought you had a bar.
Sometimes a bar isn't enough. Like now.
If it's useless, then why is it there? Why not just make it 0 bars?
Is now really the time for this? It's just like, obviously Marina is irritated because she doesn't like, she's jealous, she's worried, she's, having her own internal relationship issues. They both are, honestly. They're both they think things they don't say, and not very nice things. And obviously, Amber is like, is now the time? Like, obviously Marina's stressed too because she's like worried about Tess and she's worried she's gonna miss her, worried of what she thinks, and Amber just doesn't have much of an ability to humor anybody. Like, and it just makes things so stressful,
Not now, Amber.
I'm just asking.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Now is not the time. Like, Amber, drop it. Don't be such a brat. After a long moment, she finally sighs with relief.
Okay, it finally went through.
Now what?
Now we wait for her to text me back.
Wish we could wait inside.
At least Marina has her phone to keep her occupied while the time passes. I just watch the people going in and out of the casino, thinking about how I'd rather be somewhere else. See, again, like, it's all about the mentality. Like, your head is like, don't just like be complaining in your head. Like, pick the good things out of it. Like, you're hanging out with Marina, and you know what I mean? Like, find something good, like happy. If it's gonna happen to you, you might as well find a way to make it not that bad. Otherwise, you're just choosing to be miserable. After a few minutes of silence, my patience is running out. Oh man, here's Amber's attitude, gonna ruin everything.
Still nothing?
No, doesn't even look like she's read my message.
Maybe her phone's dead or not with her.
Yeah, maybe.
Wanna head back to the booth?
Wow, that didn't take long.
We can stand around some more if you want, I guess.
Marina sighs yet again.
You know what, Amber? Just go back to the booth.
There's a harsh bite to her words. It takes me off guard. She immediately notices and shifts gears, her expression softening as she looks everywhere but my eyes.
I'd still need to find Tess a gift.
Hey, I can help you look.
It's fine. You'll have a better time with Cassie anyway. See you later. I'll come back to the booth when I'm done.
Wow, she trailed off on I love you. Oh my god. You guys need to talk, man. Like, wow. Like, this is so stupid. Just talk. Just like, it's so easily fixable. I can't even believe it. My god. Before I could even let her know that I worry about her going off on her own, she's already walking away. She glances back once, but then heads back into the building. Amber, this is all your damn fault. Amber, this is like 60 to 70 to 80% your fault. Marina is like, Marina also has that biting internal commentary of how annoyed. But I think a lot of it comes back to she doesn't feel good enough and she's worried she's not good enough. So I don't know, but with Amber, so far she hasn't done that internal like I'm not good enough thing. Hers is like I'm annoyed. Like Amber's one of two moods for Amber is annoyed. The other one is less annoyed. So it's like, good God, Amber, she's ruining everything. Damn it. Now it's my turn to sigh. I had to be something I said, but what could it have been that made so much different from what I usually say? Amber! It's like talking to a dude, like, just like, not even like, not any dude, like an oblivious dude. You know what I mean? Just like, use your words, for the love of God. I'd like to brush it off as her just being in a bad mood, but that's so unlike her. She's Marina. She doesn't have bad moods, at least none that I've ever seen. The sun beats down on me and my shoes feel, the sun beats down on me, and my shoes feel like they're melting into the concrete. I can feel the sweat start to drip down my cheeks. Seep down, sorry. When did things get so hard? Have they ever been easy? Good lord. Amber, god dang it, dude.
Just get on out of here. Take yourself and scoot on out. Shoot, go on.
Not like my sister would want any of your junk anyway.
Good. Your patronage is not appreciated. It's no good. And neither is your money.
All right, solid. Marina has like similar levels of social ability as Amber, so that's interesting.
Well, your inventory ain't appreciated either. Where'd you dig it all out of, a dumpster?
That's right. Same one you crawled out from.
I'll kick your ass!
Security!
No. I'll leave!
Mariah coughed the words under her breath.
Junk peddler.
The vendor hurled a neon green Buddha statue at her, elongated snail antennas replacing his eyes and his usual peace sign instead of that of the Vulcan variety. It whooshed out past her head, cracking into a pillar behind her.
Jesus!
That was enough to convince Mariah to retreat, at least for now. She turned tail and sprinted down an alley tightly packed with other vendors and booths.
Wrong deity! And don't come back!
Good lord. Alright, so Mariah's, being Mariah. As Mariah was dodging in and out of congested crowds and shoving strollers out of her way, she considered, only for a moment, that this was the karma Joe had tried warning her about. Of course, admitting that would also be admitting that Slacker was right, and she wasn't about to give him the dignity. There was only one thing that he had been right about, though, something that even Mariah, still fumbling around in the fog of her morning hangover, could see. The squirt was sad. Yeah, all kids get sad and broody, facts of life and all that jazz. Give the little turds a soda and some Skittles and they'll bounce back just fine. But the way Mariah saw it, there were different types of sadness, some that were different enough to transcend the three-letter word that represented it. She had never figured out a word to describe the transcendence, and if there was one, it was too long for her to care to learn it. It's called depression, fun fact. But she had seen it in action before. She had seen it down by the river, where Joe would mope and stare at the water for hours before holding himself up in his room for days. She had seen it belching out of steel chimneys on the horizon during the days she ditched school, enveloping the whole town in gray clouds and making the flat plains of Missouri feel like a snow globe. And she had felt it when watching the neighbor's cable, the blue glow from the garage table CRT lighting up her face as she cranked up the volume to drown out the noises her old lady and whatever uncle she had brought home that week were making. Oh God. Whatever this was, that feeling that would poke at Mariah whenever she was forced to stare down the spout of an empty bottle, and that now seemed to be stabbing her kid sister. She hated it. It was like a virus, spreading, cynical. Not cynical. Cylindrical. Is that what it is? It's like a cylinder, circular. You know what I mean, whatever. Clinical? Maybe that's clinical. Clinical, maybe that's it. Now trying to sink its teeth into Tess. I almost think that might be clinical. No, that's not clinical, because there's no L. Whatever, I don't care what word it is. Trying. Mariah something, the terror of the Southwest, badass treasure hunter, and the true winner of the race to find the miner's gold, was not about to let the thing take a bite out of her sister. Not yet.
There's gotta be something around here.
In a way, Tess's birthday felt like a deadline. If she could just find one thing to give her, something that would make the twerp smile, well, she might even be able to beat this thing off just for a little while longer. She took a gander at the rainbow of tarps on both sides of her that trapped her in the aisle. Turns out, the swap meet was only a quarter of the story and was just being sandwiched between overly expensive food stalls and new age soccer moms trying to sell their craft jewelry. There hadn't been a single good find all day. How could there be? That cheapskate Joe, he'd only given her $20 to work with. Should have just given her his cut. That would have made better use of it. She passed a popcorn vendor and nabbed a handful of kettle corn out of a little boy's bag. With her mouth wide open as she chewed, she pointed at every booth that looked like a waste of time.
Garbage, crap, hot garbage, junk.
None of this was good enough for her sister. Hell, none of it was even very good. She swallowed as she made eye contact with a thin vendor that had a pencil-y mustache. He was selling rose-themed decor. Mariah stopped at his table.
I've seen better hauls at estate sales after old-timers croak on the toilet.
Mariah went on her way. She was just about ready to answer the call of the casino, maybe take advantage of those complimentary drinks those chicks in the tight slacks were serving. It's what a high-rolling Vegas fat cat like her would deserve, after all. But then she saw it. The only thing special enough to make her snap her head back and stop. Aha! Hey, a new marina item. A license plate nailed to the top of a wooden display. Nothing particularly special to Mariah. She saw them on the road every day. It was often used them fraudulently depending on which county they were in, and if they had a warrant out for her. But to Tess, those rectangular wonders were treasures. But what would make this license plate special to Tess was the sunflower slapped on the middle of it, shining through the black text like a sunbeam. It was perfect for her. Her flat eyes always got slightly less flat when they passed fields of them growing on the side of the road. Sunflower wallpapers, sunflower seeds at gas stations, it was the only thing the kids seemed to identify with more than the red, white, and blue itself. The state in question? The faraway land of Kansas, a place so foreign to Mariah that she had often doubted its legitimacy of its existence. Now, Mariah wasn't an expert on the geographical makeup of the United States, or most things really, but she had bonked her head on enough of Tess's wind chimes to know that which ones she did and didn't own, and Kansas was one of the several missing. Mariah marched over to the booth until she was close enough to smell the sticks of burning incense wafting from it.
Hey,
She called into the booth. It was bigger than the others, the tarp bleeding into the robe behind it. The inside had an assortment of rugs and tapestries draped around the knickknacks on display. It looked like a shop that had been standing on the same bazaar for generations and would be there for even longer.
I said hey!
What a wonderful kind of day!
Standing up from behind a stack of boxes, a man with a vape pen dangling from his mouth coughed out a greeting to Mariah.
Sorry for the delay in service, sister. Still unpacking some artifacts at the scene.
Mariah's nose wrinkled. She squinted into the man's retro sunglasses, but couldn't make out anything past the frames.
I freak. How much for the license plate?
I'm selling a license plate?
The man craned his neck out from the booth and looked up. His curly hair bobbed at the slightest movement.
Oh, guess I am.
I like this guy. Mariah dug out her $20, ready to cough it over and get her change, but the vendor shooted away.
I'm afraid that's not how things roll here, sister.
Who doesn't like cash? You some kind of commie?
He folded his hand and pointed both index fingers up.
Read the signs from above.
She looked up and did her best to sound out the words carved into the wooden sign in sloppy bubble letters.
Silent. Auction.
What the freak is that? Silent something.
Silent auction? What the hell is that?
Oh, silent auction.
Signs. Plural.
She looked up again, this time at the other sign tacked into the bottom of the first.
Oh. I don't get it.
Sis, you know how to hold a pen, right?
Haven't done that in a while. But I probably still do.
She had to like really think about it.
And you know how to use it?
Skating on thin ice, buddy.
Lake ain't that deep, because that's all you need.
Hearing this guy and this guy Mariah go at it is so funny, because Mariah is like she's just so dumb. She's really funny in a really crass way, but she's so dumb that it just really cracks me up whenever like this, like, you know, stoner hippie and Mariah going around in circles is really funny. Anyway, he slid out a sheet of paper from beneath the table and plopped a pen taped to a hawk feather right alongside it.
Just write down how much you think it's worth. Get it?
The cogwheels in Mariah's head turned and rattled. She looked at the rows on the paper, a column for bids and a column for notes. It still took several more seconds before she got it.
So So some leech could swing by once I leave and outbid me?
But ain't that how auctions work?
Mariah was immediately suspicious. Anything that couldn't be claimed as her own through will or skill was a scam as far as she was concerned, and with only 20 bucks to her name, the quiet tug of restraint called to her. But what was restraint except the excess of useless pansies too afraid to act? Nothing. It didn't exist, not to Mariah, especially not when there was a risk of Tess turning into a slug.
Fine, but if this is a farce, you're roadkill.
She held out the pen in her fist like a knife and carved a starting price into the first row.
Only $1? You're killing me here, sis.
She thrusted the tip of the pen at him.
If this thing is a hoax, you're gonna wish I actually did.
I hear ya.
Really, he didn't. He grabbed an egg timer from the end of the table and wound it. The continuous ticking began.
Auction time is 60 minutes. Best of luck to ya.
Keep your luck and give it to any sap who tries to get in on this. They're the ones who'll need it.
Yeah, she'll just shank him, like outside in the parking lot. Mariah gave him one last scowl, then slithered away, pushing her hands deep inside the pockets of her jumpsuit that she'd be back soon. 59 minutes remained. Go get him, Mariah. Go get him. Oh boy. I look back at Amber once, then head inside. She looks so confused and helpless out there all by herself. Of course she does. I just got angry and stormed off. It's mean, but there's a big part of me that's actually happy that she is. How gross is that? But at least now she can feel it too. What it's like to have no idea what the person you love is thinking. Maybe that was a little too harsh though. Gah, whatever. Can't focus on nasty stuff right now. Gotta find me a gift for Tess. No matter what happens, this is her birthday, and we need to be here for her. With how sad she's been lately, we need to find something that will perk her right up. Oh, good lord, dude, the drama. I slip into the crowd and follow the pretty girls in costumes until I'm deep inside the vendor hall. The further I get, the more it feels like the booze and tarps are multiplying. The people too. There's enough sweat in here that I feel like I could actually drown in it. Sorry, I'm over here trying to do my best to restrain myself. This might be harder than I thought. Tess, but I'll do it. I'll do it for you. Fortunately, after treasure hunts and festivals, navigating crowds is easy peasy for me now. Amber would probably disagree if she was here, but I think I'm quite the expert at it now, thank you very much. I'm afraid of getting distracted by chatting, so I try to avoid looking at the vendors and instead just focus on their merch. There sure is a lot of it, from adorable wooden coyote carvings to really out there art that my mom would shield my eyes from if she saw it. But none of it screams Tess. There are toy vendors and stuff, but Tess isn't into stuff like that. No kid is a regular kid, but she's definitely unique, and I want to make sure we give her something that's unique. Thankfully, I don't have to zoom up and down the aisles for very long. I spot something that doesn't just catch my eye, it's basically yelling at me to stop. It's nailed to a tippy top of the booth. If I weren't looking, I may not even have noticed it, but all I need to do is take one look at it to know it's made for Tess. Oh my god, it's the license plate. Oh my, I told you. I was 100% when she's like, I gotta find a gift for Tess. My first thought was, do you think she's gonna bid against Mariah? But then I was like, no. I was like, I don't think that'll happen. And then the next thing, that's exactly what happened. A Kansas license plate with a sunflower. I must have it. Veering off course, I swing over to the booth.
How much for the license plate?
I didn't mean to, but my hands slam on the table, and itty-bitty timer on it falls over.
So I guess this thing really is a hot commodity.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I love the way this guy sounds so much. He's such a stoner.
So you have a lot in stock then. Thank goodness.
Oh no, he had more than one person mention it, which is what he's driving at. What a relief! That will make sure Tess will. This will make Tess positively positive.
Afraid not, Bubbles. Read the sign.
Afraid not, Bubbles. I look up at the plate again. The license plate spells out JC Saves.
From God?
You're my second customer of the day, not second customer. The other side.
I didn't even like register what the license plate said. That's funny. You're my second customer of the day, not the second coming. The other side's plural. This time I look at the wooden signs.
Silent auction. Ooh, I know those! My school did them for fundraisers.
He puts a finger to his lip and smiles, even though under his thick round sunglasses I can tell it's a real smile. I whisper.
I know those.
This'll make it easy then.
He unfolds a sheet of paper and smooths it out on the table. I stare down and look at the first row.
Someone's already bid on it?
Just a few minutes ago. Don't mean you can't, though.
Wow, talk about good timing. It must be fate.
I'll do it.
$1 isn't a lot. I can outbid that, no sweat.
But, how will we tell who's who? There's no name on it, just their bid.
Don't you worry your pretty little ponytail, or whatever it is. They used a black pen, so you'll just use a purple one.
Science. He slides a purple ballpoint out of his sleeve like some kind of crazy magic trick and tosses it over. Wow, Mr. Vendor's really slick.
I get it. An extra silent option.
That's right.
I put the tip of the pen to the paper and write down my bid. 3 United States dollaroos.
Sorry, whoever you are, but there's a sad little girl who needs this a lot more than you.
Hey, all is fair in love and bidding wars. Battle ain't over yet, though.
He sets the timer right side up.
There's a little under an hour left in the auction. When this thing rings, it's all over.
I read the timer and give him a quick nod.
Okie dokie. I'll make sure to check in before that. See you soon.
I try not to smile too much as I walk away. Tess is going to love this. Can't get too excited just yet, though. It's still an auction after all. You never know what could happen in 50 minutes. Yeah, you never know, do you? That is so funny.
Hey, freak! What the hell is this?
Mariah glared at the second row on the paper. Shh. Mariah slapped his finger away from his hushed lips.
Give it a rest. I asked you a question.
Don't know what to tell ya. Answer's right there on the page.
Yeah, but there can actually be other weirdos on this rock who collect these things. They're scrap.
One man's trash.
Is another's pain in the ass. God, what a pain in the ass.
It's just $3. Not hard to beat, right?
Do I look like I fell off the money tree to you, pal?
She brought herself to look at the new bid again. It was written in purple. What a stupid color. An ugly color. In fact, it was the worst color, Mariah decided. That's not true. I love purple. The handwriting, too. She wanted to spit on it. It was so nice and pretty and neat and disgusting. The kind of handwriting you'd only see from a teacher's pet, a real slouch. But the thing about the slouches of the world, they can't stand straight. They're closer to the ground, easier to knock down. Someone with handwriting this compact who twirled their threes in the middle, they must be meek. They must be meek. It's overcompensation, something Mariah was quite familiar with. Wouldn't be hard to intimidate them. To get them to back down here and now. She took the black pen and began smashing it into the paper. 40 minutes remained. I was about to say, just go to $21 and then you'll have it for sure.
Jeez. This is, a little intense.
I can only wince. Every row from the 3rd to the 5th has been overtaken by violent, scratchy lettering, all just for one letter. Number, sorry. 10. she just scratches in its 10. The bidding price has jumped from 3 to 10. Escalation.
Seems you developed a bit of a rivalry, huh?
I didn't mean to.
It's true, I didn't.
I have a feeling this person would have been angry at anyone's bid.
I try not to be a judgmental person. Everyone has their own lives and issues to go alongside them, but I know exactly the kind of person who would try to scare someone else when something doesn't go their way. A bully. There's a lot of ways to deal with bullies. Not all of them are helpful. Some of them even make matters worse. So the best thing to do is stand my ground. To let them know, no matter what, that they won't have any control over me. 35 minutes left. Oh my god. This is awesome.
Bastard! Oh, they're mocking me.
Seems like they're just playing by the rules of the auction to me.
You must be as blind as you are sleazy.
She snatched the paper off of this nice little 11 with a smile. Look at this tiny little smile in the center of the paper. She snatched the paper off the table and shoved it in his face.
What's that look like to you?
Written form of $11.
That's part of it, but look closer.
The written form of $11.
That is a smiley face. A smiley face! Can you believe that crap?
Whoever did this didn't just bid one more dollar to flex. They wanted to teach me a lesson.
So what are you gonna do?
Mariah thought about it. This was a direct attack on her pride. Purposeful, too. If she had to fight with what little remained of her dignity and her sister, then so be it. She would go for the jugular.
What I always do. Win.
20 minutes remained. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Excuse me, is it okay if I ask you something?
Mr. Vendor takes a deep breath on his vape. The steam streams out of his mouth like a fog. I've never actually seen someone do it in real life before, but it kind of smells like rotten bubblegum. I don't think I like it.
Ask away, Bubbles.
Ask away, Bubbles. That's such a great nickname for Marina. It's so accurate.
What's this crossed out word right here?
I pick up the paper and point at it. Altogether, it says... Both... Both words have been scribbled over. $11.01. That is so funny.
Well, it's a message from the other bidder. Bit too profane if you catch my drift, so I scratched it.
Profane?
Wait. I gasp so loud that Mr. Vendor jumps.
They didn't. That's so mean. Mean, 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 mean.
Her little gasp, but she's like, I can't believe it. Someone swore at me. Yeah, man, imagine that. I've only used that word a few times in my whole life, and I'd never used it like that.
All I want to do is make my friend happy. She's been so sad lately, but when you're little like that, no one ever really cares if you are.
Too real. No one cares if you are anyway, but even especially when you're little.
But this person is just being a giant jerk about it, Mr. Vendor.
Now that I cannot deny. But they did raise the bet.
By 1 cent? Is that even allowed?
I believe it makes things interesting. And this seems like that.
I bet you the vendor's like, this is awesome.
It's not, though. It's just stressful.
We're not even betting that much money, so why is this person taking it so seriously? Because she has a max of 20 bucks. Unless they don't have a lot of money. Hey, see, exactly. I mean, they did start a bet at $1. All of these, like, equations flowing past. It's like the meme, it's so good. I mean, they did start the bet at $1, that's not a lot. If they were a collector, they'd probably bet a way higher price to make sure no one else took it. It's like they're almost scared to go over $20. Wow, almost. If Amber were here, she'd probably try to end this by throwing it down $100. It would be extreme, but we would have the money for it. But we have the money for it. But if I did it, she would probably just tell me they was irresponsible. It's way too easy for her to nitpick me, but not herself. Actually, you know what? This isn't about Amber, it's about Tess. I grab the purple pen and smooth out the creases in the paper.
Gonna keep going?
Until the end.
I finish writing my new bid and look at the timer. You're a big girl, Marina. You can handle this. You can get Tess her present, and you could show Amber you're more than capable.
I'll be right back, Mr. Vendor. Just gonna take one last stroll around.
If I make sure not to go very far, I can catch this bully in the act. There's only 10 minutes left. Oh, God. Let's do this. I'm ready. Mariah could no longer contain the seething, swirling rage within her. She felt it from the soles of her feet to the tips of her split ends.
Oh. So they want to die.
Sister, if you're gonna commit murder, could you possibly do it in front of one of the other boys? Thank you.
I love the vendor so much. He's so good. She ignored him, possibly couldn't even hear him. Instead, she just muttered to herself.
19 bucks. That's all their life was worth, huh?
The bet was too precise. Her opponent, this villain, this terror, this scourge, this dick. They had to have known she only had a 20 on her. This new bet was a geometrically calculated kick in the nuts.
Listen, I don't want to throw off the bar, But if there's gonna be trouble, then we'll need to ask you to leave.
I'm not going anywhere. Not until I win this thing or bust up their face.
5 minutes remained. Uh-oh.
I'm so mad.
I stomp around the corner, heading straight back to the silent auction booth. Maybe it's not the truest thing in the world, but I like to believe that every single stranger is good at heart. That's really nice of you to think. But this person, I'm not so sure. They made someone else's day bad. They made someone else's bad day even worse.
I'm gonna give them a piece of my mind.
I would love to see that.
I'll make this quick.
Mariah stood in front of the booth, cracking her knuckles. She would have gotten upset over this any day of the week, but the fact that he was supposed to be made for Tess made it extra personal, even if the other person had no way of knowing. Well, they would know after this. She'd make sure of it.
Oh, I'm gonna kick their ass.
Oh, God. I march like a soldier.
And after that's taken care of,
Mariah waited impatiently.
And once that's over with,
I'm gonna win.
I'm gonna win.
I like how they're doing the transition every single time. I know it got faster and faster. That's so good. I spot the booth, and there's a split second where I feel like a muscled-up superhero or pro wrestler. Then I see it. A chili pepper red bandana, attached to long blonde hair, and a jumpsuit. Oh my God, that's Mariah.
Hurrah! It's been forever.
The happy tears start rolling, and I start strolling directly to her. It's not every day you get to see a friend you don't see every day. I like just how immediately cheerful. It's like, oh, totally good. Anger gone. It's like I was never even angry to begin with. She must be happy too, because the second she sees me, her expression changes from sour to, well, she's sort of hard to read, but they can't be anything but happy. There's a teeny pause after I run up to her. She just kind of looks at it, but I'm so excited I can't do anything but jog in place. Oof, she must have been drinking. I can smell it on her breath. She absolutely needs a hug. I dive in and give her a big, long hug. Her clothes are stiff and a little smelly, so I try not to breathe. But I hope it does her some good. She's always arguing with Joe, and I know when I argue with Amber, all I really want is a hug. She doesn't hug me back. Not that I really expected her to. She just kind of stands there like a tree.
Hey, other one.
Hey there, other one.
It's Marina.
Yeah, whatever you just said.
Same old Mariah. I have no idea why her and Amber don't get along. They're so similar. They so are. They so are. I break away from her, then just stare at her and smile. She wrinkles her nose.
I'd ask what you're doing here, but I guess it's not really that surprising, huh?
The only thing that's surprising is that you and your worst half are crazy enough to drive all the way out here because of the brat.
Oh no, anything for Tess. You guys could be in Timbuktu, and if it meant we could meet up, we'd make our motorhome float.
Gross, but thanks, I guess. The kid'll appreciate it. Things have kind of been on the rocks lately.
She looks up at the JC Saves license plate, just like she might be able to pray it into her hands. When she's not paying attention, Mr. Vender's jaw pretty much drops to the table. He points back and forth. But why? Why is he... Oh, crap. Crappity crap crap crap. Mariah's the other bidder? Oh God, this makes it way too much sense now. The scary numbers, the escalation, the harsh words.
Got a problem?
What? No, of course not. Stop being so silly, Mariah.
Well, I got a problem.
Oh no, does she know I was the other bidder? If she finds out, she'll totally kill me. She'll use my bones as toothpicks, my scrunchie for floss. All I can do is smile. Maybe even if I smile, she won't catch on, but Mariah's sharp, like a rusty nail. She'll absolutely see right through me, just like when we played poker.
Sure do.
I'm not even sure those were words, but they came out more like a growl.
And it's with a no good.
Here it comes. Oh god, Mariah doesn't realize that Marina's the other bitter, I bet you. Please don't eat me, Mariah.
Yellow-bellied.
I hope Amber finds my remains one day.
Slouch, who's trying to outbid me for that crusty old license plate I'm nabbing for my sister.
Oh, I was about to say, Amber, like, Mariah doesn't realize Marina's the other bitter. She thrusts her arm out and points a single claw at the license plate. Her cheeks puff out in frustration, and for the first time, Mariah doesn't seem so scary. Does she really not know it was me? Amber always said that Mariah was as dumb as the sludge she was birthed from, but I don't think that's true. Maybe she's just not that perceptive is all. Maybe she's just not that perceptive is all. Well, let's not look a gift horse in the mouth, shall we?
What's a good gift for her?
We both turn and look up at it together.
Do you think it'll make her happy?
Sure, it's her birthday, and she would deserve a gift regardless. But I think it's more important than usual that she gets something that makes her happy. That's the whole reason I've been so intense about getting her something.
Nope,
Huh? Then why are you...
because there's a difference between being happy and getting someone to smile, you ditz. Ah, crap, I said the quiet part out loud again.
That's how Mariah differentiates her thoughts. That's how she differentiates her thoughts from speaking out loud. Ah, crap, I said the quiet part out loud again. That's awesome. That's such a Mariah way to put it. I love that. The quiet part doesn't even bother me. Every single one of my brothers and sisters have called me something worse, even the 5-year-old.
So, are you going for the smile then?
Hey, look at you with the brain cells and junk.
She sighs, then hides it with a yawn, then sighs again. Aw, she really is like Amber. She has trouble expressing herself and everything. Although it's cuter when you don't have to date the person.
But yeah, I am. I don't got what it takes to make her happy, and if I'm being real, I don't think anyone does. The kid's destined to be miserable, just like the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of real.
Oh, I don't think that's true at all. Everyone has the chance to be happy. But sometimes it just takes some work. Maybe some support from people you know love you?
I nudge her with my elbow, a little hint hint from one big sister to another. Her face scrunches up just like she smelled something funny. I snap my elbow back in place.
You really believe that crap?
Sure.
I guess that makes you special then, huh? You got a perfect little life and you're always happy.
Well, no. Not always.
Something inside me tenses up.
Is it even most of the time?
It's the kind of feeling I get late at night when Amber's asleep and I just turn over to look at her. My emotions always get all jumbled up during those times.
Not lately.
I want to look at her and be in love, but recently I've only been able to think about how she might be better off without me. How she might be happier, less annoyed.
That's what I thought. Eventually, everyone's like that. Soon enough, it'll be Tessa's turn.
I really wish I didn't have to hear this. It's a terrible way to look at the world. I just want to plug my ears until she's done with it. The worst thing that could happen is I actually started to believe her.
But
Is if I started to actually believe her. Sorry.
if I can stave that off a little longer, so she doesn't have to deal with it yet, then I guess I'll have done something kind of useful.
My heart dances and I feel my mood perk up with it, so she's not a Debbie Downer after all.
I don't think you actually believe that, Mariah.
Eh? How about you get a little closer and tell me what it is I believe?
Whoopsie daisy, time to course correct.
Well, it's just that even if you say all that stuff, you obviously care about her. I'm always worried about my brothers and sisters. About whether they're safe, staying out of trouble, and helping each other when they need it. When you share blood, it's just something that happens.
What is bullshit? Whole stupid notion of it. I know. Me and the squirt only share half of it. It doesn't matter if we share the same spit. Doesn't matter that she's my sister. All that matters is that she's Tess, and that's all the reason I need to want to help. So get out of my face with that family bond garbage, will ya?
Eesh, so intense. Well, considering how that could have gone, that went really well. But I think I might get what she's saying, even if I don't agree with all of it. You can't see DNA, so whether you're family or not doesn't really factor into whether you're actually like the person. Luckily for me, I like all of my family. And Amber. And Tess. And I think I might even like Mariah too.
1 minute left in the auction.
Mr. Vendor calls out from his booth, trying not to look at me while he's also trying to speak to me. He must have seen how scary Mariah was.
Guess that other guy was too chicken shit to show their dumb face after all.
Mariah rushes over to the booth and grabs the black pen.
Would still like to tear them a new one, though. Oh, I'm gonna be dead broke because of their ass.
I think I'm gonna let Mariah have this one. It seems like it's more important for Tess to get it from her than me. Me and Amber will just have to figure out something else to give her. When Mariah is scribbling on the paper, I take the chance to step away. It's time for me to get back to the booth. I'm pretty sure I'm about to reach my limit, but we'll see how much more of it I can take. If only I could be a little braver and speak my mind to Amber, like Mariah. God, if only. Her voice echoes out from behind me, breaking through the thick crowd.
Yeah! I win! In your dumb face, sucker! Come at the queen and you better not miss!
Ha ha ha! Well, maybe not too much like Mariah. Yeah, you don't want to be too much like her, that's for sure. Hours later, there's a huge crowd around our table. When Marina came back empty-handed from shopping for Tess, she was met with dozens of hungry customers. It was more people than I ever expected to attend this convention in total, waiting with cash in hand and demanding to be fed. The line is so long that it seems to stretch most of the way through the tightly packed hall. Unfortunately, they're all in line for the alien burger stand that set up a couple of booths away from us. Their line is so long that it dwarfs a number of smaller vendors' queues.
How about a snack while you wait in line? We've got homemade marshmallow treats.
Oh, no thanks. I'm trying to eat healthier.
There's more to life than burgers. Like dessert. Who doesn't love sweets?
I don't.
Bless her heart, Marina doesn't give up. She's been at it for a while. After failing to get a hold of Tess, I told her that she should just go enjoy the con herself. I even offered to go with her again, but she's chosen to stick around here. We had a handful of customers, but the total sales so far wouldn't even buy the three of us lunch. None of us really acknowledge it, but I'm sure we're all aware. Cassie at least doesn't seem too upset, that or she just does a good job of hiding it. Finally, I get tired of just standing around, and I need an excuse to stretch my legs a bit. Amber taps me on the shoulder.
I'm gonna go get some water. You want anything?
Like a million different things come to mind, a million different snarky answers. I want a lot of things, Amber, is what I want to say.
I'm good, thanks.
She leaves. Everything sucks. Our stupid booth sucks. These customers suck. This convention sucks. Why my brain screams at itself for the 1000th time, did you agree to this? Because I answer, it's not like Amber will listen. I guess it's not like I could have known that Amber would remember this super hot girl who she ran into exactly one time in her life. And even less likely that she'd be the only person in the world who Amber actually likes. But of course, against all odds, that's what happened. Congratulations, Marina, you finally got your big Las Vegas jackpot. I think I've done an okay job of keeping my cool. I'm pretty sure Amber doesn't even realize I'm upset. That's part of the problem too. The only time that there's something I want to do, and of course Amber can't help but remind me at every turn she doesn't want to be here. Yeah, they both have made mistakes.
Hey.
Sorry, Cassie, I cut you off, but they both have made so many mistakes, it's not even funny. Oh no. Please don't try to talk to me, not alone. I should have gone with Amber. I look back, hoping she's talking to a customer or someone else. But no, she's looking straight at me.
Do you want to sit down? Chair's open.
Oh, sure.
Sitting down, comfort, right, those things exist. I try to come up with a good reason to say no, even as I'm nodding and walking around behind the booth. I sit down. I smooth my skirt. I crack my knuckles. I look at the floor. I look at my shoes. I look at everything except Cassie, because I know she's looking at me and I don't want to make eye contact.
So, thanks for all your help.
Don't mention it.
Literally, please don't.
Those were legitimately the best marshmallow treats I've ever had, too. If I ever make them again, I'm going to use your trick.
Thanks.
That actually makes me pretty happy to hear, not that I'm gonna tell her that.
Yours were pretty good too.
I'm not lying, they were fine, they just weren't as good as mine, and they were better than Amber's.
Thanks. I've had a bit of practice. Not as much as you, though, it sounds like.
You an only child?
Nah, I've got a little brother back home. Just the one, though. He's 14.
What's he like?
He's a real shithead. I love him, though. Apparently, he's really good at football, so that's what he's focusing on.
One of my brothers plays football too. Although between us all, I think we have like every major sport covered.
You play any?
Nope, I'm not really
Good at stuff.
athletic, I guess.
I'm Marina. You're my spirit animal. I'm just not really good at anything.
Yeah, me neither. So, what is your thing then?
Huh? What thing?
Like, what are you into? Not sports, apparently.
Oh, I like traveling and camping. Outdoorsy stuff.
That's how you and Amber ended up together then?
Yeah, something like that.
It bothers me, but the answers that I gave don't really feel right. I don't really love those things. I don't really love those things, do I? They're fun, sure, but they're still Amber's hobbies. I'm just along for the ride. When I think that, I get a funny feeling in my stomach, like a pit just opened up and I'm falling inside it. This is pretty much the worst place in the world to have a panic attack, so I distract myself with the first thing that comes to mind. So do you think, so it sounds like Marina has anxiety, or like self-confidence issues, obviously, but maybe anxiety too. Because a straight-up panic attack, that's something that people with anxiety have. Like, I mean, regularly. Like, other people have it too, I'm sure, to some lesser degree.
What about you? I have no idea what it's like living in a city where stuff like happens.
Yeah, it's not all it's cracked up to be out here, that's for sure. I moved out here a couple years ago because I thought the same thing, but turns out that the idea of living in Las Vegas is way different than the real thing.
Where'd you move from?
Cassie smirks.
New Mexico. Albuquerque specifically.
Good God. Why do both of these people are like, they're like dancing all around where I used to live? Anyway, like Albuquerque, yeah, I've been there. There ain't nothing going on there. Trust me on that.
So you can relate then.
I love both of these two because they both share my hatred of New Mexico. New Mexico has a couple of fun things about it. Go as a tourist. That's my recommendation. You want to enjoy New Mexico? Don't live there. Go there like at a touristy type of deal, you know? Go there to enjoy Carlsbad Caverns because I've been there once. That was amazing. Go there for Balloon Fiesta. Go there as a tourist and then leave because that's the best way to enjoy New Mexico.
Totally. I didn't really have anything going for me here, but they didn't have anything going for me there either. So I figured, what the hell? I may as well make a change and do something with my life.
So you came out here?
Yeah, dumb, right? Nothing really changed, though. Guess I brought my problems with me.
I don't think that's dumb. I'm here for practically the same reason. Just took the first chance to get the heck out of where I was.
And that was Amber?
I want to say no, that I just happened to meet Amber along the way, but
Pretty much. I didn't get very far. My dad had come to get me or something, then probably still be there right now.
Seems like you two take good care of each other.
Me and my dad?
No, you and Amber.
duh, of course you meant Amber, you dummy.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
If Amber was here, I'm pretty sure she'd say something about how she's the one who takes care of me. Which, I mean, isn't entirely wrong. But it's not entirely true either. But if Amber was here, I'm sure she wouldn't understand why.
So, where are you two heading after you leave Vegas?
This girl never stops talking, does she? But the moment I feel annoyed at that, I feel bad too. She's just trying to be friendly. It's not her fault that things are weird with me and Amber. And besides, maybe they're not. Maybe it's just in my head, and I'm the weird one. I should be happy that Amber's made a friend for once. Doesn't change how I feel, though. I guess I get so wrapped up in thinking that I almost forget to respond.
Oh, I'm not sure yet. We don't ever really plan anything. We just sort of figure it out as we go along.
Anywhere that you really want to see someday?
A couple of places, I guess. Like New York and those big cities. I've never been to the other side of the country. Ooh, or San Francisco, just because it always looks so nice in movies. Or maybe Portland.
What's in Portland?
It just looks pretty.
Can't argue with you there.
We sit back down and I check my phone just for something to do with my hands. No new messages. I keep hoping Tess will text me back. Does it say something about me that the person I get text most is an 11-year-old? Maybe, but I don't want to know that.
I've always wanted to see New York too. I feel like that's what real cities are supposed to be like. Skyscrapers and subways and millions of people.
Right? Honestly, that's what I thought Las Vegas would be like.
Disappointed with the reality?
Only a little.
Well, that makes two of us again. Why not ask Amber to go check out one of those places? If you two don't ever have a destination in mind.
Maybe.
She sure does bring up Amber a lot.
Speaking of, I wonder where she is. The vending machine isn't that far away.
Who knows?
I don't mean to be snappy with her, but it comes out that way. I hope that maybe my tone went unnoticed, but I can tell by the way Cassie raises an eyebrow that it did. Nice going, Marina. You're on a roll today. Still, seconds after saying her name, Amber appears from around a different corner from the one she went down. Why does that make me so nervous? Yeah, I think Marina has anxiety. She's real jumpy about things that she didn't... I mean, like that, you know? She's like, why does that make me so nervous? You know what I mean? Like, that like, you know, not like irrational, but sometimes it is irrational. Maybe even a lot of the time. But as someone who has anxiety, I can tell you that there is some, I don't know. I mean, I guess I didn't give it much thought, because often I associate anxiety with depression, but you can have one and not the other. I don't really get the feeling that Marina is naturally depressed so much as she's naturally anxious, because there's things that come up like that, like, you know. So I'm not saying she necessarily has anxiety, because it could just be never been in a relationship, I'm really new to this, I'm just nervous because it's a new thing. That's totally normal, you know. So it's a little hard to say, but I do wonder if Marina struggles with anxiety, because she's really jumpy, and people with anxiety tend to be very jumpy about things that they didn't straight up plan or think ahead on, you know what I mean? Anyway, Marina and Cassie are both there where I left them, as are every single item we have for sale. No surprises there. I shove my way through some shambling burger customers and slide back behind our booth.
You get lost on the way?
Actually, yeah. Couldn't find the vending machine, so I let myself get ripped off and bought one of these.
I held up the bottle for them both to see. It's a souvenir plastic bottle with the convention's logo covering most of it.
Filled with the finest tap water from a water fountain.
Well, I mean, it's not a rip-off, because it's a souvenir. Like, a cup is a great souvenir. I take a sip and try to ignore the plasticky aftertaste. Just because it isn't washed yet, that'll go away.
Did I miss anything?
Not at all.
Mare didn't tuck your ear out, did she?
Ah, Amber with the foot in the mouth. I put my hand on Marina's shoulder, but she shrugs it off with a cold look.
Nope. I think I might have talked hers off, though.
Wow, I'm shocked. I would have figured you got her whole life story.
Good God, Amber, stop it! It's so not where Marina is right now. Marina rolls her eyes and stands up, stalking past me to go pointlessly rearrange items on the display once again.
Nah, just talked about where we're from and how we ended up here. Turns out the two of us have a lot in common.
Seriously?
Yeah, we've both got the same kind of wanderlust, I think. Only difference is I never got to burn mine off on an epic road trip with my girlfriend.
I take a seat on the now empty chair.
Hey, the RV's always got room for one more if you ever get sick of this place.
Amber, for the love of God! Woman, stop it! Oh my God, like, Marina is going to, like, snap. She's just gonna turn around and just deck Amber. Like, Amber just with the foot in her mouth. I literally can't take it. It's killing me. And Amber is so oblivious. She's so oblivious. There's gonna be a horrid fight any minute, and I'm just waiting for the blow up. It could happen right after this slide. You never know, but just saying, I'm calling it now. There's going to be a horrible fight, and I'm gonna be so sad. So buckle up, because it's definitely coming.
I'm sure Marina would be cool with it too. Right,
Here it
Mare?
comes. Yep. That's what did I just say? The music stops, the ambient stops. Suddenly it's quiet. I told you. What did I tell you? There's a loud rattle as Marina spills a basket of candy on the ground. One of the packs explodes open, sending shrapnel of chocolate and peanut bristles scattering. Oh God, here it comes.
Mare?
I stand up right as Marina's hand tightens into a fist. When I place my hand on her shoulder, this time she doesn't shrug it off, but I can feel her body shaking. Oh God, here it comes. When she finally turns around, there are tears in her eyes. Oh, crap. Oh, good God. There's the fight. I told you.
So, do you
Sorry, Joe, I'm reeling here, but oh my god. Like, I told you that's what would happen, man. Like, that's the fight coming in, because Amber is an idiot. Amber's an idiot, and Marina doesn't say anything, and like, they're such a mess. They just need to talk and like learn to voice their emotions and where they are and what they want. And oh god. Anyway, sorry, Joe said, so do you feel anything? For talking to Tess, I imagine. God, my feels are like shriveled up in my chest. I'm scared to death. Tess continued to squeeze the man in the gray alien mascot suit, counting these seconds in her head until she reached a 20. Because 20 was the amount of seconds an article she had read said it would take until a hug would release endorphins. Oh god, poor Tess.
I did for a couple seconds, but it's gone now.
Yeah, man, oh my god, like, between every character here is a mess. Like, everybody here is an absolute mess, except for Joe. Joe's the only one that's, like, remotely adjusted. She backed away, her arms leaving an imprint in the chubby suit. Tess looked up at the alien's lifeless black eyes and bowed.
Sorry, mister.
Joe and Tess wandered off. The next child in line tackled the alien with a sprinting hug, weighing the immobile suit to the ground. Children swarmed him as the line devolved. Chaos reigned.
It's all good, kiddo. At least you felt something, right?
Feelings are fleeting.
But memories last a lifetime.
With a click of his tongue and a finger guns for good measure, he handed her back her disposable camera. Tess stared at her reflection in the polished floor. Joe patted her head, and each time it landed, it felt like a nail being hammered back into place.
If I'm not mistaken, we each have 4 or so tickets left. How's my math?
Pretty good. We have 8 altogether.
Jeez, $40 really doesn't take you far here, huh? I thought the carnies back home were bad.
We're all just marks waiting to be worked, brother.
Oh god. Oh god. Joe scanned the hall, searching for anything other than another carnival game. Tess was too good at those, and after a few minutes of holding her giant stuffed prizes, his arms would get tired. Each and every time, she would hand them off to people she thought needed them more. Toddlers, fighting couples, those weirdos in costumes. Nothing impressed her. It was as if she had seen the whole world in muted monochrome, but she was at least 10 years too early for that. A kid should be able to look around her and view everything with hopeful vibrancy, like it's all being seen for the first time. It was a precious point of view that had been taken away from Joe too early, but Tess had a birthright to it, just as much as any other kid. Yet it was something he was beginning to feel like had been taken away from her too. And that maybe he had something to do with it. Maybe all the treasure hunts and scrambling and general insanity had zapped the poor kid's spirit before it could ever really take off. Mariah couldn't be held responsible for it. She could hardly be held responsible for herself. So whatever, Joe looked down and saw Tess's quiet, pale face staring into the distance, into a Missouri summer that neither he nor Mariah could bear to let her experience. He felt the burden weigh heavier and heavier, and it was his burden. Oh, poor Joe, man, he's burdened with all this too. And as they wrapped around a corner, Joe locked onto the biggest thing in sight, a bouncy castle. It was a saucer-shaped spectacle, chrome silver with a green bulb at the very top. Every few moments, with an unmistakable jumping rhythm, a child's silhouette would leap up before being pulled back down.
Hey, how about that bouncy UFO over there?
Tess took one look at the UFO, then took 2 steps so she could hide behind Joe.
Let's not.
And why not?
Sign says it costs 8 tickets. Only one of us could go in.
She glanced over at it. A kid tumbled out of the entrance with a somersault, stood up, shook it off, and dove back in.
It should be you.
Call it a hunch, but somehow I get the feeling they wouldn't be very accommodating to a 6'3", 200-pound man. But tell you what, you can have my leftover tickets and spend some time in there yourself.
Her shoulders stiffened. She wished she were one of those desert tortoises she saw sometimes. Oh god, the music disappeared. At least they could hide in their shells.
Do I have to, Joey?
He floated his hand behind her back and ushered her along.
Yeah, sure. When's the last time you played with kids your
Oh
own age?
god. Joe, I hear a heartbeat. I think she's gonna faint. This is bad. Bad, Joe. Warning signs.
Never.
It'll do you some good then. Come on.
He guided her to the entrance of the UFO and handed her his 4 tickets. She limply held up the 8 tickets. A bored teenager with the word staff written on his shirt in tape snatched them from her before she could take a single breath. He tossed them into the trash can next to his folding chair.
No shoes or outside toys.
The teen pointed at the crovel? I don't even know what that is. Latched onto her back. Tess looked to Joey with pleading eyes, hoping that if she looked uncomfortable enough, he would change his mind.
I'll keep watch. You don't have to worry about anyone stealing.
That's not what that look was about, Joe. It seemed all but inevitable now. Tess bent down, unlaced her hiking boots. She sat them side by side, aligning them with all the Velcro-strapped sneakers that had been tossed aside. Next up was the crovel? I don't know how to pronounce that or even what that is. Is that like the little net entrance thing that's kind of there? That's what I assume that is. She slid it from its sheath. The whole thing was almost as tall as her. She cradled it in both arms, then laid it up on top of the row of shoes. Its weight flattened all of them at the toes. Okay, maybe what that is not okay. It's not the net thing. Maybe that's the little shoe thing that you put shoe in, like at the old school McDonald's. You know, at like old school McDonald's and stuff. Or currently, I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Tess stood in front of the inflatable horror looming over her. Oh my god, that face, though. Piercing shrieks rang out like the screams of the damned crawling through the Earth's crust. What were they doing to each other in there? What would they do to her?
Come on, kid, there's a line.
The teen shoved her into the entrance. Oh god, the curtain swallowing her entire body. In her last act of despair, she reached her hand out toward the light. Joe swelled with pride as he watched Tess get whisked away to adventure. Wait, what a little trooper. Oh god, no. Inside the bouncy castle, Tess rolled in like a tumbleweed blown off the street. The screams from before were all around her now. Boys and girls leaped and bounced, some high enough to touch the bulb at the top, maybe even high enough to touch the top of the stratosphere. What is happening in here? The walls tinted everything in a swampish green. In a far-off corner, there was a boy jumping alone. He had been jumping for so long, his face had turned purple, swelling to the point where he looked like a selfish squirrel. When he saw Tess, he grinned, the gaps in his teeth looking like tiny black holes. It's also super insane loud. I might have to like almost mute this part in audio because of how loud it was in my ears. Anyway, I'm like yelling because of how loud it is in my ears. I turned it way down now, so we're a little more adjusted, but like good god, it was so loud in here. Like tiny black holes. He never stopped bouncing. Tess made the jiggly, unbalanced journey to her feet. As soon as she stood, a girl swooped in next to her and screamed in her ear. The pitch was high enough to induce, something. If Tess's eardrums had been made of glass, they would have shattered. Tess fell back down to her knees. Her ears throbbed. The girl stood over her, giggling. Tess loosely raised a finger in protest. I'm assuming you're not supposed to hear that, because I didn't even hear anything. The girl ignored her, bouncing away with her pigtails flowing behind her. There we go. I think I heard a whisper distantly. Gradually, Tess's hearing faded back to her, a buzz now ringing in the depths of her ears. All she could do to keep herself from dwelling on it was to focus on the electrical hum of air being pumped into the UFO. If she listened close enough, it sounded like chanting. Tess trembled to her feet, her head swinging back and forth to make sure she wasn't snuck up on again. The place stunk of sweat and socks, a pungent smell that didn't so much as attack you but seep into you, just as it had seeped into the rubber walls. She tried to put on a brave face, tried to be courageous. Joey had told her to play with kids her own age. If it had been her sister, she would have already pieced out. But this was Joey. He actually cared. He wanted her to be okay. And if this is what being okay meant, that she needed to try. Because if she didn't, maybe he wouldn't be okay. Maybe he wouldn't be okay. It was probably already the reason why Marina had texted her once this entire time. She must have finally realized Tess was a freak. Oh no, Tess, no! That's not why. She's desperately trying to get a hold of you. Oh god, Tess is definitely depressed. These super irrational thoughts of you're worthless are absolutely depression screaming in her ear. She's definitely depressed. A freckled ginger boy bounced past her. She raised her hand. She's so quiet, dude. He leaped on past her. Another girl, this one had a tight ponytail and a sweatshirt with a horse on it. She was doing cartwheels. And she's like whispering too, but she's never gonna be heard, man. She's too tiny and quiet for this. Ignored. From across the castle, a tank of a boy stomped over. With every step he took, one of the children sprawled out on the floor would be launched several inches in the air. It was as if the rules of gravity bent themselves to this child's whim. He stepped in front of Tess. His breathing was heavy and fierce, like a caribou in the winter tundra. He glanced at her. He glared at her. He scrunched up his eyes, looking like they might sink into his wrinkled nose. The longer he stared, the smaller Tess felt, and the smaller Tess felt, the larger he looked. But this wasn't the time to feel small. This was the time to feel brave. She extended her hand, poised for the hardiest handshake her thin fingers would be able to squeeze out. Oh god, poor Tess. His gaze shifted down to her hand, then shifted back to her. Solid. His mouth opened like a drawbridge to a castle. He unleashed a mighty roar from the depth of his chest. It wasn't enough to send Tess flying back, but the pizza breath might have been.
I am King Jeremy! Fool me!
Oh god. King Jeremy stomped both feet and took his battle stance, the same one he had seen a sumo wrestler do on TV. But it wouldn't be Tess that took up the challenge. A boy with wireframe glasses stepped forward.
No, I am Liberty Man, and I will defeat you with my Holy Grail power! You're cheating! Liberty Man doesn't have Holy Grail power!
Alright, hang on a minute. I can't hear myself think. Where's the general? It didn't help! Oh god! It didn't help. It's so loud. Alright, we'll put that back to 35, I guess. Maybe it's supposed to be really loud in here.
Nuh-uh, 'cause I'm also a knight!
Another boy shouted. And another. And another. And another. From there, it descended into a debate of professions ranging from the mundane to the magical. Tess could only watch in shuddering horror as the battle lines were drawn around her, until finally sides had been taken and she was left in the middle. Tess is like, having an anxiety attack, what are you doing? But it was too late. It was like a plague. Every child picked up on it. The very essence of hobo and then created into the bouncy castle lore. Oh god.
She's already the hobo. I'm not a hobo.
Oh god, Tess, no! It occurred to Tess just how hot the inside of this bouncy castle was. The air was stale and hovered over her like a humid day at the river. Her breathing was short, shallow, impossible to control. Her chest heaved in and out, taking oxygen by the shovelful. She's having an anxiety attack. Oh god. No longer children, but shadows. They circled around her, their mutterings of hobo forming into an amorphous suggestion of the word. That even they weren't saying hobo, they were saying hobo. My brain isn't even smart enough to process that. Why was she a hobo? Did she smell, or maybe they just didn't like her? Was this rejection? If it was, what would they push her, scream in her other ear, yell at her? Would Sis yell at her later because of this? Would that make her sad? Would that cause Joey to not be okay? Would Marina stop talking to her altogether? Would it be all her fault? It would. It would have to be. And then she would lay awake at night when it was dark, when bad things happened, when bad thoughts happened. Would her life always be that? Just one big bad thought? Oh god. It was a church choir now, and horrifying, and the entire congregation except for her was singing. The girl with the pigtails screamed. Tess shoved through the crowd of regular giggling children who were not singing or chanting or even a choir. She ran for the exit. Back outside, Joe swallowed back a yawn. Tess bounced out of the UFO. The teen working at the entrance looked at his phone as she darted off. Her head swung back and forth, a silent promise that she would never go back.
Tess? Hold up, where are you headed? Tess?
He watched as the top of Tess's bandana disappeared into the sea of attendees. Some made space for her, most didn't.
Crap.
He rushed over to grab Tess's belongings.
Wait, you can't just leave your things here. Tess!
Oh god, dude, she's freaking out. Marina is fighting with Amber. Oh god, what's happening? He sprinted out of the play area, her shoes and groveled? I still don't know what that is. Maybe if he took it with her, it's not the shoe thing. Whatever. Swinging from his hands.
Tess! Where are you? Just say something so I know you're okay.
That's not good, man. It's because she had a massive anxiety attack, I think is what that was. A flood of worst-case scenarios spiraled through his thoughts. Running away. Kidnapped. Hurt. The usual suspects. But there was one image that haunted him. And despite him never having been witness to it, had carved itself into his memories for years. It would remain there for his entire life. In this vivid painting, when the water flowed, a toad croaked, and brush dripped the humidity of summer, there was a small body that floated down the stream, face down, bobbing with the current. Except now, the body had platinum hair, a red bandana that was sopping wet, that was pale and still. He tried to push it out of his mind. Oh God, thinking about it made it harder to run, harder to breathe, but it wouldn't go away. Not really. His burden to bear. Finally, there was some respite, assurance that it would be okay, that Tess was okay. Far from the activities, from where the crowds had thinned and the decorations were sparse, Tess sat against a wall. There was one drinking fountain on the wall, and she sat directly under it, curled into a ball with her knees drawn to her chest. She rocked back and forth, her bandana shadowing her face. Joe breathed a sigh of relief. On the off chance there was someone up there looking out for her, he looked up and tipped his bandana. He strolled up to Tess and shot her a smile.
How's it going, kiddo?
No response.
I think you forgot these.
He leaned her grovel, whatever that is, against the wall. His adrenaline told him to just drop the shoes, but he made sure to place them gently on her feet instead, at her feet. Her shoulders huffed twice. She looked up at him. 2 tears slipped out of the corners of her eyes. Otherwise, there was no sore eyes or a puffy face. Joe dropped to his knees.
Hey, is everything okay?
She shook her head, once left, once right.
I don't know if I'm happy or not.
His mouth hung open as he tried to formulate a response, although the truth was as obvious as the 2 tears sliding down her cheeks. No happy person would ask that question.
Do you feel unhappy?
I don't think she feels anything. She nodded. Oh, sorry.
I think so.
Joe frowned and looked away. The guilt made it too hard to look at her. Tess wiped away her tears and sniffed up everything else.
Are you afraid to cry?
Not really. I just don't feel like doing it now.
So you feel better?
No. Just don't feel like crying now.
Ah.
Other kids cry a lot. They scream too. I don't know how they do it so much. It seems hard.
She brought her knees further into her chest.
And scary.
Emotions are pretty scary.
Yes. I want them to go away.
You feel them a lot, huh?
Yes and no. Sometimes I feel a little. Sometimes I feel a lot. It feels like...
Tess ruffled her bandana and tried to think of words. Words were hard. Finding words for herself was harder.
It feels like people want me to feel a lot when I feel a little. Or want me to feel a little when I feel a lot.
Did you feel a lot back there?
Joe motioned down the hall where the bouncy castle was, where all the hectic things were.
Too much. Like, I shouldn't be there. And they made me not want to be there. It's always like this when I try to play it.
Joe tilted his head.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know.
Joe's shoulders slumped. The kid really had a way of taking the calcium out of your milk.
A lot when a little, huh?
Yeah, but it's okay, Joey. It's just how it is.
It isn't, though.
He clenched the fabric of his jumpsuit, cursing the person who made an 11-year-old think the world worked this way, then cursed himself for his role in it.
You're wrong. It is. Sis yells at me because I feel a little. You run after me because I feel a lot. It's okay. It's what I do. And it's what grown-ups do.
A single dimple formed on Tess's cheek.
Except Marina. I like her. She's nice and talks to me about fun things. Sis says it's because she's special. I think she's right. Marina is very special.
Joe decided he'd swat Mariah over the head later for that one.
But I think I scared her away. Too freaky. Because I'm me.
That one was the hardest for Tess to say. She wished she hadn't, because the second she said it, it felt true.
I just...
Her bottom lip quivered.
I just wish I wasn't me. And that not me was like everyone else. And I wish I was okay.
Oh, truer words have never been spoken, Tess. She is my spirit animal. The heartbreak that had been collapsing in on Joe fell down then and there. No one looked at Tess like a person, let alone a child. Not even Tess, not even him. She was just an enigma, an icy set piece. Yeah, piece that existed to make everything else feel whole, but not herself. He had enabled that, the narrative that small people only felt simple things. It had all come full circle. Joe clutched the plastic dog tag strung around his neck. Either through inspiration or determination, a small fire sparked inside him. She had tried to explain herself to him as well as she could, so it was only fair to do the same. Alrighty, let's give this a shot.
You know, I used to not be okay.
Tess's eyes grew wide in disbelief, then small in suspicion.
This is a ploy.
No, honest. I was pretty messed up as a
He's
kid.
just kind of like her face. This is a ploy.
That doesn't sound right. You're too normal.
Pretty confident for someone who wasn't even alive to see it.
Before I was born?
The allure of the before times were too great to ignore. It seemed mystical to her, the era of ancients.
I was a lot different back then. Everything was different, I guess.
Did she dare to ask?
Different how?
She dared.
Well, I had a brother, for one.
Exclamation points went off in Tess's head. She had at least a dozen questions to ask. But before she could bring up any of them, the truth made itself known to her. The exclamation points became ellipses.
Oh. Sorry.
It was a long time ago.
She stayed silent.
You aren't going to ask?
Wouldn't it be rude?
Joe shrugged.
His name was Benjamin, but I just called him Benji. Yeesh, my mom would always throw a fit when she heard me call him that. Benjamin is a perfectly lovely name, and all that jazz.
It's biblical.
Most things are, kid.
Tess recalled the handful of times she had been dragged to Sunday school. Her blood ran cold with Old Testament fear. Her voice went quiet.
Was it a prank?
No, nothing like that. He drowned.
Tess shifted around to find a comfortable position, but remained thoroughly uncomfortable. It wasn't scary, just sad, and Joey sounded sad when he said it.
I was younger than you when it all went down. And he was even younger than that, so he...
Losing track, Joe scratched his head. Half of him felt like he had traveled back in time to that sweltering day, where stepping outside felt like stepping out of the shower. The other half of him felt like it didn't exist.
Yeah, couldn't swim. I told him I would teach him how, but there was an auto show at the pharmacy. Pop's shop was sponsoring. But you've met my Pops, right?
Very big. Very scary.
Nah, he just doesn't talk much. Kinda like you. I wish he did, though.
Why are you trying to delay this? He thought. It says saying it changes nothing.
Anyway, I said that he should go to the river and that I'd catch up. They found him a few days later.
But saying it out loud changed everything. Tess thought about how many times she had swam in that river and how she might never want to again. She thought about how Joey looked like a new Joey. Tess reached over to touch his leg, not knowing anything else to do except placing her hand on it.
Are you okay now?
Oh, usually. It comes and goes. Comes when I worry about folks, goes when I know they're okay. But back then, well, I guess no one would be okay after that. And I wasn't.
Did you feel a lot?
He stared down at her and grinned, but Tess knew he was just for pretend.
Too much. Too sad, too guilty, too angry. Mom was hysterical through all of it, and I can't really blame her. Pops never talked about it throughout most of Benji's things within a week. Can't really blame him either.
A lot. And a little.
Yep, and I must be their kid, because I got both of those things.
Joe toyed with the dog tag, twirling his fingers through the chain. It weighed more than the plastic it was supporting.
Some days I skipped school and would just sunbathe on the riverbank. Looking back, that was probably weird. But being so close to where it happened made it feel like it hadn't. But then, when I would go out, everything was just a reminder. People would look at me and I'd get heated. They'd whisper and I'd lash out. I thought maybe they were talking about how it was my fault. Or maybe they just felt bad. Didn't matter. Both scenarios really ticked me off.
You sound paranoid, like Sis.
Probably was. It was pretty lonely. Picking fights with people doesn't make you a lot of friends. Mariah being the exception.
Tess considered this, imagining Joey sitting as he is now, except now in the middle of a wheat field. A plane soared far above him in the distance.
I hope you're not lonely anymore.
Of course not. I got you, don't I?
And Sis.
Especially your sister. And your remind me to wash my mouth out with soap later for saying that. She was as mouthy back then as she is now, and I didn't exactly practice the art of pacifism. So us getting to know each other may or may not have involved a fist fight on the playground.
Sounds about right.
Couldn't have happened any other way. But as crazy as it sounds, she was the only one who would let my emotions play out.
Did not compute. Tess wrinkled her nose, unable to imagine any scenario where her sister would show as weak of a display as empathy.
That's impossible. She would never do that. Also, she would probably call you a crybaby.
Don't get me wrong, she absolutely did. But she would always stick around. Didn't matter how many times I told her to go away. It was always, shape up, slacker! That lemonade stand ain't gonna build itself!
That's a great impression.
Oh, that sounds more like her. Does that count?
Not sure. I like to think she was trying to help in her own way. It might be the only way, and I'm better off for it.
The conversation petered into fumes. They both stared ahead, watching the spattering of people occasionally walking by. A lot had been said, even more had been thought. Much of what Joey had said, had told her was sad, but for some reason she felt warm. The conversation had felt like a hug. She had been right. He was a new Joey, but perhaps this one was better. He looked Tess straight in the eye, as much as he could under the water fountain. Joe had no illusions that he understood everything, or that any of the things he had said would make her feel better. But doing this at least was something.
Things are different for each of us, Tess. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. It's not always going to be okay. You won't always be okay. And there are going to be times you might not even know why.
A hollow space drilled itself into Tess's chest. It dug its way down to her gut.
But I'll be here, even if you never feel okay ever again.
Oh, my heart! Don't do that! No! My heart, dude! Oh, the feels! I can't take it. I gotta see if you can save these pictures that they do for, like, these ones. I want this as a wallpaper so bad. However, the thing about hollow spaces is that there's always room for them to be filled.
That said, not feeling okay sucks, though. So let's try to boost your chances.
He pulled the dog tag over his head. At first, Tess wasn't sure what to do. She watched the tag sway from the chain as he held it out. Cautiously, she opened up her palm and reached out. He dropped it into her hand, the beads of the chain rattling behind it. Tess squinted and read the faded name carved into it.
What is this?
A good luck charm. Might not seem like a real dog tag, but the engraver who gave it to my brother said it works twice as well.
A lump formed in Tess's chest. It snaked. Man, she's not the only one. It snaked its way up her throat, and she could feel it clenching.
I'm not a very lucky guy, though, so try to give it back once you don't need anymore. Okay?
Oh, my heart! Don't do this, my heart! I can't take it. She couldn't see now. Everything looked like a blur of watercolors. She clenched the charm in her fist and brought it to her chest.
Joey, I think I feel like crying now.
She choked out the first two sobs before Joe pulled her in. Tess clutched his jumpsuit and cried into it. No one seemed to pay them any mind. Oh, my heart! All right, sweet. Let's go to the next heartbreak. This sounds awesome.
Babe. Hey, what's wrong?
Okay, here we go for this next bit. That was really heartwarming. Like, the feels, like, that was great. That was awesome. Loved that a lot. Great. All right, now buckle up for this, because this is going to be the other part of this horrible, soul-crushing dilemma. So buckle up. Here we go. Oh, my God. This is like, what an onslaught. Like, my God. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. We can do this. Here we go. I duck and swoop and try to talk to her face to face, but Marina keeps moving around so that her back is to me. Oh, God. This is going to be so painful. I can feel my throat tighten as the reality sets in. I screwed up bad, didn't I? Yeah, no kidding.
Hey, Marina.
I lowered my voice and put my hand on her arm. She doesn't throw it off.
Are you okay?
The answer is obvious, but something compels me to ask anyway. Some vague hope that she's actually laughing and not crying, or that it's for reasons that have nothing to do with me. Marina shakes her head. Of course she's not okay, you moron, I berate myself. Slowly, I turn around, hoping that Cassie hasn't noticed anything that's going on. How could that possibly be true? Like, Marina, threw something and, crushed something in her palm. Like, You know, like, and then Amber standing up being like, oh my god, are you okay? Like, what's happening? You know, what's wrong or whatever? Like, how could Cassie not notice? You know what I mean? How? Of course she noticed. Good lord. Anyway, sorry. Just Amber just is so annoying. She's so blind to this stuff. Naturally, she's staring right at us, but when I look back, she abruptly looks elsewhere and pretends she wasn't. At least she has some decorum. I appreciate that.
I think we're gonna take a break. If that's cool.
She peeks past me at Marina, who's just slouching like a discarded puppet.
You got it. I think I can handle the wave of traffic here by myself for a bit.
Despite the atmosphere, I can't help but chuckle.
Like I said, you two have already done a ton to help out. More than I had any right to ask. And also, I get the idea that I'm part of the problem here too.
I open my mouth to disagree and tell her that she's wrong, but I don't, since I don't know if that's true or not. That's a big part of it. That's part of it.
We'll come back in a bit.
Cassie nods, but I don't know if that's true either. Yeah, that's fair. Then I turn and slink back to where Marina's waiting.
Hey, can we talk?
Marina doesn't react. Under my skin, I can feel myself wanting to get annoyed. How am I supposed to make this better if she won't communicate with me? But I don't let myself dwell on that. She's the one who's hurt right now, not me. I don't need to make this about myself. Thank you.
Can we walk at least?
I gently place a hand at her side and guide her away from the booth. She comes with me, but never looks up, and nearly bumps into a dozen different people. Once we're within a few feet from Cassie, I start to talk again, keeping my voice low.
Okay, hey, talk to me, please. I'm sorry, I was just making a joke. I didn't know it was going to hurt you.
I may as well be talking to a brick wall for all the response I get out of Marina. Actually, strike that. At least a brick wall wouldn't look as miserable as she does. My stomach starts to turn in tighter and tighter, knots as the reality sinks in. Marina's really upset, and it's my fault. Given the timing of it all, it's kind of hard to pretend that this could be for any reason besides the obvious one.
It's about Cassie, right? And how I said she could come with
No,
us.
I mean, like, yes and no. Yes and no. Partially no. Like, it's part of it, but that's not all of it. Marina steps slow.
I wasn't seriously inviting her. I was just kidding. I'm sure she knew that too. It's just that...
Stop, Amber. Just stop.
She comes to an abrupt halt, even though we're in the middle of a throng of people. The crowd parts around us like a river around a dam, but with more angry looks. Hands on her hips, she glares at me. The tears in her eyes are more cutting than the expression itself.
You can't just say you're sorry like that magically fixes things. You can't just say or do whatever you want, then expect me to get over it because I always do.
She glares, and I feel myself wilting under her look. It's rare to see her What? Why can't I read? It's rare to see her look this upset. That was so simple. Don't know why I couldn't do it. And the only times I've ever seen it have been my fault. My heart pounds in my chest as I remember the last big fight we had on the road near Palm Springs. Yeah, it's funny you bring that up, because that's similar to what I was just thinking of. After all that, I swore to myself that I'd treat Marina better. Now here she is, her eyes still watering. I rack my brain to find the words to say what can make this better, but I draw a blank.
Marina...
She starts walking, away from the booth and into the mess of people. I stay at her side. Part of me thinks I should leave her alone to cool off, rather than following her at her heels like a disobedient dog. But even as I think that, I remember myself running off last time, wandering the city and eventually ending up in Mariah's wreck of a place. I don't want to just run away again. Unless Marina tells me to go, I'll stay with her. We walk in silence, a few inches apart, close enough that I could reach out and grab her hand if I wanted to, or if she wanted me to, but I don't. I wonder if she has some destination in mind, or if we're just wandering. I don't ask. With each step, it feels like I'm missing the opportunity to say something to remedy the situation, but the right words never come to mind. Instead, my own thoughts taunt me with their uselessness. At one point, I think that Marina is going to lead us out of the convention entirely, but then she makes a left and we continue down a different part of the casino. If she's going somewhere in particular, I have no clue where. Finally, after a few minutes of silent walking, we step outside one of the elevators.
Can we go
We
up?
stop outside, not step outside, sorry. It takes me a second to realize she's talking to me.
To the top?
Duh, Amber, where else would she mean? Marina nods. I force myself to smile despite how I'm feeling.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I can see her wanting to say something, but not. She presses a button and the elevator almost instantly opens for us. A few other people climb in alongside us, and the ride to the top is once again silent. Marina and I end up separated by a few people, and I keep an eye on her. She still just stares at the ground, at least she's not crying anymore. I try to ignore the whooshing feeling in my stomach caused by our quick ascent. It doesn't help the feeling of worry that's already boiling in there. When the doors finally open, Marina is the first one out of the elevator. Oh, that's pretty. Even I, known cynic and killjoy, can't help but gasp in awe. Beneath us, the entirety of Las Vegas stretches out like a... That is really pretty. Good God. Anyway, sorry. The entirety of Las Vegas stretches out like an upended toy box, spilling details all across the dusty desert. We're flanked by other immense casinos and luxury buildings, but the dense urban sprawl expands all the way until a few tiny residents meet the empty sands. Thousands of people mill about down below, accompanied by what seems to be an equal number of cars that would wind their way through and around the city. Up here, there's dozens of other people all crowded around the banisters, admiring the same view we are and taking lots of pictures. I mean, how could you not? It's gorgeous! Good God! Anyway, sorry. A few rides also adorn the summit here, with roller coaster tracks circling part of the spire and several other attractions being advertised nearby. I would absolutely never do this. Absolutely not. Marina and I stand beside one of the railings, which we somehow have to ourselves. That's very convenient timing. That's good. We're gonna need it. She takes in the sights with quiet awe, which is totally un-Marina-like, but at least I can see in her eyes that she's enjoying it.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't mind heights, but something about being up here makes me feel very small, even though it should be the other way around, with everything beneath us appearing tiny in comparison. I can see that. I grasp the cold metal bar in front of us, holding onto it the same way I'd hold onto a bike's handlebars. A second later, Marina does the same thing. You know, I would think after this little journey, they're never going to want to go back to Las Vegas again. Just a thought, but I'm just saying that I guess they're probably going to always associate Las Vegas with some sort of trauma. But anyway, I digress. Her hands are close to mine, but don't touch. Yet again, I feel like I should be saying something, anything, but I don't know the words.
Amber.
Marina beats me to it.
Yeah?
The wind, the sounds of the people and the rides, all the ambient noises of the city fade away from my notice as I focus solely on Marina.
It's not about Cassie. It's about you. Everything's always about you. What you want to do, what you want to see. Even this dumb convention that I wanted to go to. We ended up staying with Cassie the whole time.
You didn't have to stick around. Shannon.
Oh, Amber, it's so much worse. So much worse. Worst thing to say. Top 10 worst things I would recommend saying for that, like, for this specific situation, that was in the top 3. Yikes. Oh my God, what an idiot.
But I want to spend time with you, Amber.
I can hear her voice crack, and I feel my throat get tight, too.
I want to do fun things with you and make memories with you. Not just wander around some stupid casino on my own. I really love you, Amber. Like a lot. A lot. But sometimes it's really hard to like
That's
you.
fair.
And I know that most of the time you don't mean it. I try to just ignore it when you tease me or get annoyed or don't care about the same things I do. I know that's just how you are, and so I try not to let it bother me.
Her hand slid off the metal, and for the first time, she faces me.
But it's hard, Amber. It's so hard when you treat me like your stupid sidekick instead of your girlfriend. You don't ever have any faith in me. It's like you think I don't know anything. Like I'm a little kid. And it's hard for me to speak up because I worry that you're gonna get sick of me and want to go back to being alone. And I don't want that. So I just keep it all inside, but this isn't even the first time we've had a fight like this. So when we meet some stranger who's like the first person we've ever met who you actually like, and she's pretty and funny and has a lot in common with you, and you even volunteer to do all this stuff with her that if I had asked, I know you'd tease me for it. Maybe you'd do it, but you'd still tease me for it. And so I try not to let it get to me because I'm also happy that you're making a friend, but it still does. It still gets to me that you can't just treat me the same way, like an equal. So it's not about Cassie. Not really. I knew you weren't actually inviting her, but hearing you say it just felt like Like what we have is nothing special to you. Like anyone can just come join us. Like anyone could replace me. So I just don't want that anymore. I don't want you to keep thinking I'm childish or immature. Just because I want to take cute pictures together, or watch cheesy movies and eat ice cream, or cuddle on the couch instead of going out and doing stuff. Just because I don't hate the world like you and Cassie do, or act like a tough guy and like I don't care about anything. And I don't want you to stop being that way either. I don't want you to stop being Amber. I love all those things about you because they're what make you, you. I guess I just want to feel like you love me for who I am too. You're always just passing through places, Amber. I don't want you to just pass through my life. And so...
Whatever it is she's about to say never makes it out of her mouth. Instead, she hiccups and her breath comes out as a sob, and then she's crying again.
Mare.
I stumble forward and put my arms around her, feeling like I'm in a daze. Every single word she says plunges a dagger into my heart, not because I think she's got it wrong, but because I know she's right. It isn't hard to think of a time when I've done things that she's upset about, even earlier today. And it isn't hard to think of a lot of other times either. God, I'm an idiot sometimes. Yeah, no shit. I hug Marina tightly. She doesn't hug me back, but she doesn't push me away either.
I'm so sorry.
I mean it too. I know that it's not adequate on its own, but I mean it. It's not hard to remember the last time we fought, when she yelled at me to stop treating her like a child. And now I've managed to do it again. Keep doing it, really. I feel like tears pushing their way into my eyes, tears of regret and of anger with myself. How? How could I let this happen again? And again and again and again?
I'm sorry.
I say the words over her shoulder, speaking them to the emptiness below us.
I know that doesn't fix anything, and that I have a lot of fixing I need to do. But I'm sorry for hurting you. There's one thing you got wrong, though. Or at least misunderstood.
I take a step back, disentangling ourselves, but still holding on to Marina's hands.
I'm not really good at this. Being heartfelt, I guess. That's why I tease you so much. But Mare, I really do love you too. For who you are. You're like my sunshine.
I can feel my face turning redder with every word, but I soldier on.
You make my life brighter. And I don't try to coddle you. I just don't want to see you feel sad. But I screwed that up.
Sniffling, Marina wipes her eyes and nose.
a little.
The teeniest, smallest trace of a smile flickers at the edges of Marina's lips. That alone sends a wave of relief rushing through me. There's still more I need to say, though.
I'll try to stop doing that so much. I can't promise it'll never happen again, but I'll be more thoughtful about it. Making you sad is literally the last thing I ever want to do. So I'm sorry for doing it so often. And if eating ice cream and taking pictures and snuggling is what you want to do, then I want to do those things too. I want to do whatever makes you happy.
I mean it. From the bottom of my heart, I mean it. My words seem to hang in the air between us, fighting the gusts of wind to not be ripped away. Marina's bangs hide her face, her eyes and face. The silence stretches on, and my pulsing anxiety returns with it. What if she doesn't accept my apology? After all, this was clearly something she'd been holding in for a long time. I know that an apology is just the beginning of making things better, not the end of it. What matters now is how I act from here on out. But what if she's not willing to take that chance? Could I really say that I don't deserve it?
Marina?
I'm afraid of what she might say. But then she laughs.
I was waiting to see if you had any other embarrassing stuff to say.
I laugh, sigh, and if I'm honest, sob all at once.
You're such a dork.
She pokes at me on the nose.
But you love me.
I poke her back and then put my arms around her again.
Yeah, I do. A lot. And hey, I really meant everything that I said. Sorry. And I'll do better. For real this time.
Good. 'Cause I love you too.
For the first time all day, Marina leans forward and kisses me. Then she pulls back and smirks.
Seeing you cry too made it a little better.
She nuzzles into me, and for a moment, it may as well be only us up here. It's starting to get late, and the sun is setting behind the Black Mountains.
You know, there's not that long until the convention closes. Is there anything else you want to do?
Distant, excited screams reach us as the roller coaster nearby plunges around a corner.
Maybe there's one thing.
She points to one of the rides close by that isn't the coaster. A sign advertises it as the Big Shot. It's where you get strapped into a seat and then free fall really fast.
Let's go on the big shot.
Are you serious?
After all that, the first thing she can think of is a theme park ride. I catch myself before I go down that rabbit hole. If it makes her happy, then it makes her happy. That's all that matters.
I've always wanted to ride one, but no one will ever go with me. And there's no way I'm doing it alone. But I'm sure my girlfriend, who loves me a lot, would want to join me, right?
I'm sure she would.
I let Marina pull me over to the short line to get on. There's a few people ahead of us, but the ride is short, so we move at a pretty fast pace. Quick pause here. I'm probably not even gonna edit this out, fun fact. I want to look up, and you might see flickering as I'm alt-tabbing, but otherwise we shouldn't be able to see it. I want to see how long this game is, like how long the DLC is. Isn't it like, I think there's a site that tells you that, isn't it? How long to beat. Oh, well, I had it until I went back. Anyway, to be honest, though, that fight, not that bad. You know, I absolutely, like, I expected so much worse. I expected so much worse. So, you know, I mean, all things considered, that was not that bad. You know, so that's awesome. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, you know, all things considered, that was not that bad. The fight in the first game was awful. It was so much worse. It was so much worse. But this one was not that bad, and it got resolved. And it was just they said, you know, they said their piece, and things just, I don't know. It just went really, really well, you know. It looks like it doesn't really say, to be honest. Like, it doesn't say, because, like, it doesn't pull just the DLC. And so, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really say, you know, how long the DLC is. Because, like, a lot of people, you know, there's all this stuff about you know, the DLC, but it doesn't say how much just for that. Sorry. Anyway, so I guess I'm tempted to, because that's the thing. If we're only a few minutes away, I'd rather just keep going. You know what I mean? And I don't know how long it is, so. We watch as the current batch of riders gets dropped, their screams being quickly sucked away by the wind as they fall. It's a good thing I haven't eaten much today.
Are you sure about this?
Was the matter, Amber? Scared?
I'm not scared. I just don't get what's so exciting about these things.
I might be a little scared.
Well, you're gonna find out.
They cut off the line just before we can get on, so we'll be the first riders in the next batch. Marina watches eagerly as the attendants strap everyone in and make sure they're secure.
When it drops, you gotta cheer with me.
Why?
Haven't you ever been to an amusement park before? 'Cause it's way more fun that way. Besides, it doesn't count if you don't.
Doesn't count for what?
For you making it up to me like you promised.
Oh, so that's how this works, huh?
That's right.
She says it so sweetly that she knows I can't resist.
Guess I have no choice then.
The ride comes back to the starting point and the woozy passengers start to stumble off. Once it's empty, the attendants lift the gate and let us onto the ride. The harnesses fit over us like a giant belt buckle, and I tighten mine until it's digging into my chest. Then I hold onto the reins for dear life. Next to me, Marina's wiggling with anticipation. I take a deep breath and look down at the city below and instantly wish I hadn't. I didn't, sorry. It's dizzyingly far away. The platform beneath our feet suddenly feels a whole lot smaller. The people far beneath us are like individual pixels on a screen, too small to really notice. Nearby, the guy running the ride is arguing with a mom and her small kid, so we're left sitting for longer than most. I wish we could just get this over with. I look over at Marina, just to avoid staring at the ground, and I'm shocked to see tears rolling down her face.
Mare?
Alarm bells ring in my head again. Once again, I have no idea what's wrong. But Marina sniffles and shakes her head, wiping her face with the back of her hand.
Sorry, I'm fine.
She says, even though she's still half sobbing.
Did you change your mind? Do you want to get off?
She shakes her head again.
Really, I'm fine. I think it's gonna take a bit, but I'm okay.
I stay quiet, not really sure what to say.
It's just after keeping all that inside for so long, you know?
Yeah, I can't really fix everything in just a couple minutes. But I'm glad we talked about it. I want to keep working at this.
She nods.
I'm glad too.
Thinking about how much I have to make up to Marina, just like the drop below me right now, a little scary when I think about it. But it's literally the least I can do. It's what I already should have done. It shouldn't have taken me 2 tries to get the same lesson when I think about how close we came to breaking up before back in Palm Springs. We didn't though, and we're still here, together. That's what's important. Finally, the guy running the ride gets the annoying lady settled in, and he heads back to the control panel. Marina manages a smile.
Ready?
As I'll ever be.
Remember, you've got to cheer.
I'll try.
Marina reaches over and grabs one of my hands. I whimper as I lose grip on the harness, but Marina squeezes my hand reassuringly.
I thought you said you weren't scared.
I wasn't.
It'll be okay. I'm sure that...
The rest of Marina's sentence falls away as we plummet downwards. The city below us shakes as we shoot down the needle of the stratosphere, coming to a slow stop far below. Just as I catch my breath, the ride starts to climb back up again.
Wait, was that...
Suddenly, the ride drops again.
Amber!
She squeezes my hand as she yells my name, barely audible in the wind as the wind rushes past.
3, 2, 1...
That's so cute. I can't take it, my heart. It feels weird to scream my lungs out. I can't remember the last time I did it, maybe never. But it's kind of cathartic too. I try to put all the stress and worry from the past few days into my voice and get it out of me. Marina cheers along with me. Seconds later, the ride slows down and then starts to ascend again. When I look over, Marina's laughing.
That was so much fun!
Yeah, it was.
More than I expected, even. As the ride comes to a final stop, I wish it would keep going.
Thanks for coming with me.
I'm glad you made me do it.
Does this mean you'll try out new things with me more often?
Yeah, I like that.
Hell yeah! As we ride the ride, my legs still shaking, we take one last look at the view. I tried to see it how Marina does, full of fun and potential. I remember feeling that way before when I was younger. It's how I knew Marina would like the lights the first time we came through the city. So, when did I stop feeling that? I don't know the answer, but being here with Marina now makes me feel like that's okay. Things can change for the better. If I let them, I can change for the better too. It's the least that Marina deserves, really. I wrap my arms around her, appreciating for the first time in a while just how much she likes to cuddle.
Ready to keep going?
Always.
We head back down and return to the booth just as it's time for vendors to start packing up. Cassie's already halfway through pulling down the decorations. Looks like she sold a few things, but most of the goods are still on the table. Despite that, she smiles when she sees us approaching.
Hey, everything okay?
Yeah, we're better now.
How's it been here?
Not great, if I'm being honest.
That sucks. People don't know what they're missing. Everything you made was so good.
Thanks. Can't say I'm too surprised. It was always a pipe dream at best.
She sighs.
I can clean this stuff up myself. I don't want to take up the rest of your day, too.
It's fine. We don't mind.
But she shakes her head.
I kinda need some time to think, anyway.
Oh, sure. Makes sense.
I'm not really sure what to say. Today's results are disappointing no matter how you look at it.
You guys should come by the shop tomorrow, though, before you leave. I'll see you off properly.
Yeah, sounds good. We'll see you then. I don't know why that one wasn't voice acted. Alright, I squeeze Amber's hand tighter and scoot in close. For some reason, she's always cool to the touch, even in a place as hot as Vegas. We stroll down the sidewalk, matching our steps so they line up perfectly.
Whoa, careful. I'm gonna lose my balance.
I lean my head into her shoulder just to push her buttons a little more, only a tiny bit.
Are you saying you're gonna fall for me?
Amber wrinkles her nose and grumbles.
Jeez. And you say my jokes are bad.
Well, I did learn from the best.
Or the worst, depending on your perspective.
No.
I play with her fingers, stroking her hangnails and rough calluses on her fingertips.
The best.
She looks away and tries to hide her blush. I wonder if she knows she gets as red as a strawberry when she's embarrassed.
Glad I'm good for something at least.
There's a bounce in her step as she swings the gift Cassie gave us back and forth. She can try and act as grouchy as you want. You can try, not she. You can try and act as grouchy as you want, Amber, but I know you're just as gushy and hopeless as I am. We turn the corner and we're back on the strip. This is my second time here, and it's still totally overwhelming. New York on one side is on one side of the street, Paris on the other. It's enough to make anyone's head explode. When I first met Amber, it's like my head was always exploding, but because of the treasure hunt, we were always so many people around it. It was intimidating. It still is, honestly, but only a little. A part of me likes it, because every single person being a spark of life to wherever they're at, even the tipsy people going in and out of the casinos. It doesn't just make them special, it makes whatever they're at special too. That's especially true with Amber. Being with her makes everywhere special, even if we visit 1,000 times. Just like me, she's always changing, and each time she does, I find more reasons to love her. In front of us, a dad is carrying his young daughter. Her chin is resting on its shoulder as her springy alien antenna headband wiggles back and forth. It's so adorable. I twinkle my fingers and give her a tiny wave. After a yawn, she smiles.
A lot more kids at the convention than I would have thought.
Well, duh. Kids love aliens. I love aliens.
You sure it's not just the weird kids?
Sounds like something a former weird kid would say.
Hey! Aside from the obvious, it wasn't that weird. Nowhere near the weirdness levels of a kid like Tess.
Take that back. Tess is a sweetheart.
She didn't get a gift. She didn't get a gift. It hits me. Like how my brothers used to hit me in the face during pillow fights. All I could do is scream. I messed up so bad.
You good, or should I just ignore
I
this?
like Amber just like super calm. Are you good, or should I just ignore this? I turn to Amber, then grab her, then shake her.
I forgot about Tess.
Oh no. Amber wobbles with my shaking. I can't stop. Shaking her is all I can do.
There was a bad signal earlier, and then it just slipped my mind. Oh, I can't believe I did this to her. After we came all this way, too. She must be so sad.
Oh, Marina, you have no idea. And thinking about how sad Tess might be just makes me sad. Even if I was busy with drama, I can't believe I just abandoned her like that.
Will you just relax?
No!
Okay. But just so you know, they're probably still in town. As long as you text her, it's not the end of the world.
Text!
I let go of Amber and stick my hand in her pocket. After digging through watered up, probably my pocket, not her pocket, I don't know. After digging through watered up dollar bills, I slide my phone and bring up my messages with Tess. Tess! 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 I'm so sorry! I wait and wait. Eventually the little check mark showing she read it pops up, but the ellipses, the 3 dots, nowhere to be seen.
Tess put me on red.
Without a message telling me it's okay, all I can do is focus on how much I screwed up, how much anxiety I must have given Tess. When bunnies die, they scream. When friendships die, they're left on red.
She hates me.
She doesn't hate you. You're impossible to hate.
No.
I sniff back tears before they can come out, because dang it, I don't want to let myself cry for the second time today.
I couldn't even find her a good gift earlier. Even if I had texted her, she would still hate me for that.
Tess isn't the type of kid to get bratty because she didn't get a present.
Yes, Tess is so beyond feeling it doesn't even matter. For a girl who hoards old cassette tapes, she should know exactly why some objects are important.
Babe, it's not about the present. It's about showing that we care. And think about how sad her life must be. Do you think she's ever had a good birthday? With cakes and candles and friends?
I don't like assuming the worst about Joe or Mariah, and I don't. They do the best they can. That's why Mariah was after the license plate. But I don't think this is important for Amber. But I think this is important for Amber to grasp. If things really are going to change with us, she needs to feel things without me telling her why she should. Amber's eyebrows wrinkle. She looks down, pursing her lips.
No, I don't. It's
She scratches her head and avoids looking at me, all flustered.
not really something I have experience with, you know? Growing up with Gramps, birthdays were always just another excuse to go to some place we would have gone to anyway.
Oh, I didn't know.
Now I just feel awkward. Amber would have been in a situation like Tess's growing up too. So if you go through life like that, I guess it's something that wouldn't matter to you as much.
Do we know what Tess likes? Besides license plates from stolen vehicles?
Sunflowers.
She looks surprised at how fast I answered.
Like the plant?
She ends all of her texts with an emoji of them. I think they make her
They're like one of like two things that make her happy. That and Joe. No one could possibly hate Oh wait, no, that's not true. Her, Joe, and Marina. There you go. There's like she has like three things: sunflowers, Joe, and Marina. No one can possibly hate sunflowers. They're so big and bright. Just looking at them makes you want to smile. Tess notices details like that, so I think she must feel it extra hard.
Well, I don't know what an emoji is or whatever, but sunflowers are pretty easy to grow. They're like succulents. Just about anyone with a brain can do it.
She has that look on her face, the same like look she would always get when we were strategizing about the next piece of the treasure we needed.
Well, you've got a plan.
I have an idea.
Tomato potato. I'm just happy you care enough to think
Pretty
about
sure that it's like tomato, but you know, whatever. It's adorable. I'll take it. I waddle over and wrap my arms around her neck to bring her in for a hug. She doesn't push me back, but she also doesn't look thrilled.
Give me some credit, Mare. I'm not heartless.
And you're not brainless either.
I bring her in closer and nuzzle against her cheek. She probably hates it, and it's probably goofy, but hey, I'm allowed to be goofy.
Come on. Tell Mare Bear what's going on in your head.
We probably need to go back to the motorhome.
My arms slide off her.
Isn't it in the shop, though?
Not anymore. Got the call a couple hours ago. It's all good to go.
Maybe I'm psychic, or maybe I'm too suspicious of my own girlfriend, but I hope she's not going to take advantage of this in the way I think she might.
Hey, don't use this as an excuse for an early checkout.
I'm not. Jeez. We already spent the money. It'd be a waste. Even if the bed is too soft.
Why do we need an RV then?
Because I need to dust off my power tools.
Nah, we're gonna have a moment. I realize I'm just playing. I mean, we're like 30 minutes past where I needed to end this episode. I just get the feeling that it's not that far from being over, to be honest with you. I feel like we're probably getting really close to the ending, because I feel like most likely, without actually knowing, I assume that like it'll end like after they give like they meet up with Tess and they give like a present, and like they have this sweet moment of like the whole group, and then I think that's probably, and then they'll have maybe a moment after that of them like leaving and like having this another moment, and then that's probably it. So we're probably really close, and so like I don't want to have an episode that's like 20 minutes like, you know, next time, because I've done that before in previous, you know, and I've done that's happened before on the channel, and I hate doing that. So, you know, I unlatch the motorhome door and keep it open so Marina can enter first. As another side note, though, I'm gonna be so pissed at myself when like tomorrow when I get up, or tonight when I go to bed and I have zero time because I just went an extra hour or two. Like I'm gonna be so mad at myself later on for this. But in the moment, I'm like, well played. I understand. Anyway, whatever. She climbs up the steps and immediately starts wiping away sweat.
Ugh, it's so stuffy in here.
It's because those jokers parked it in 100-degree weather.
With a limp throw, I toss her the keys. She snatches them out of the air like a pro baseball player.
Go turn on the engine so we can get some air circulating in here. I'll go dig out my toolbox.
Okie dokie.
Hell yeah. She flies off to the driver's seat, and I begin the process of pulling everything out of various drawers and cupboards. My cherry red toolbox is more of a faded apple at this point. I suck in a quick gust of air and blow off a layer of dust. It disperses into the air as a cloud of floating particles. I brush the rest of it off with my hand, my palm stained with the blood of dust bunnies. Oh god, the humanity. From there, I nab a pencil off the counter and open a drawer I haven't visited in a while. It used to be a junk drawer, but now it exists to store all of the boxes that damn miners scattered across the desert. We snatched the gold out of them almost as soon as they were open, but the boxes still remained. I take one out at random, then balance everything in my arms and drop them all on the table. Marina hops into the booth, sitting on her knees and hands resting on her chin.
Can you tell me now? You can't keep me in the dark forever.
Sorry. I just wanted to make sure the miners' treasure boxes were sturdy enough before I embarrassed myself. They are almost 200 years old.
Okay, so what are we gonna do with the box?
First things first, you're gonna draw on it.
I twirl the pencil in my fingers, then point it at her, eraser side up. She takes it, but with now but how she's inspecting it, it may as well be an alien seeing a spoon for the first time.
I don't get it.
You said Tess liked sunflowers, right?
Loves them.
She's really gonna make me get all sappy and say it, huh?
Well, I was thinking, what if we did up the box all nice like? You can draw some pretty sunflower designs on it, then I can carve them out and sand it off. I was taking woodshop up until last year, so it's whatever.
She stares at me, blank face. The AC kicks into gear and the fan starts circulating air through the motorhome. Oh, she must think it's a stupid idea, but it's the only one I've got.
We can go to a nursery later and get her some sunflower seeds. For growing, not eating. There might be a book on how to take care of them, too.
Marina continues to stare.
She can use the box as a pot to grow it in. Or not. It'd be up to her. I just thought it might mean more to her, since they were after the treasure, too. And stuff.
I can feel the blood starting to reach my ears when the rest of my face heats up. She's still staring. She still hasn't said anything. It's making me extra anxious.
Can you just say something? I'm going out on a really embarrassing limb here.
Sorry. I'm just surprised, I guess.
Her gaze drifts down to the box and frowns.
It's really thoughtful.
She could say that, but after everything that's happened today, I have a hard time believing there's no underlying meaning. It is a thoughtful gift. Maybe that's where the shock comes from.
Did you not think I had it in me?
I know you do, but sometimes I just need reminders.
A dull pang of guilt scrapes the inside of my chest. It hurts. It really does. I don't even know how I had hurt her enough to wound her trust in me so severely. Part of me is frustrated, maybe even a little resentful. I know I mess up here and there, but I didn't know I was actively doing it. I wish we would have talked earlier, and that the universe had given me some sort of sign that I wasn't being the best girlfriend I could. But crying and running into each other's arms is all just talk. It's gonna take action to set things right. A lot of it.
I'll be better. I promise.
She rests her hand on top of my dirty one. Her smile is bright or cheerful, or the manifestation of sunshine I always thought it was a month ago. But it's real, and it was a room to grow bigger, and it has room to grow bigger.
You already are.
While Marina makes plans for tomorrow with Tess and a texting frenzy, I'm grateful for another second chance. Hell yeah. I'm freaking ready, dude. The next day, before going to see Tess, we have another friend to say goodbye to. When we get to Sweet Tooth, Cassie's waiting for us already, and we exchange greetings as she lets us in.
Hey, thanks for coming by. Sorry I wasn't really in the mood to talk last night.
It's fine.
Yeah, sorry for being weird too, by the way. Yesterday was kind of crazy.
I thought something might be up. Sorry if I ever made things uncomfortable, you know?
Marina waves it off.
It's okay, everything's cool now.
Cassie leads us back to the kitchen again, where we made the treats.
I don't have too long because I actually have to work today, but I did want to say thank you one more time. Although, technically, it cost me my job.
What?
Just kidding. Except, not really. I decided I'm gonna quit.
What? Isn't that kind of sudden?
You mean after totally bombing out at the convention yesterday? Yeah, kinda. I spent a lot of money on ingredients and materials. I'm gonna be eating nothing but ramen for the foreseeable future. But I decided I can't give up. Just because it didn't work out the first time. That's what I've always done. I'm not good at something right away, I just quit. That lifestyle hasn't exactly worked out for me so far, though. So, I'm gonna keep giving it my all for as long as I can. I might start traveling more, too. You two will make it look pretty fun.
It's been a good time so far. That's cool. I'm glad to hear you're gonna make a change. They're gonna miss you around here, though. For sure.
Oh, totally. Honestly, they'll probably be out of business in a week without me. But staying here would only prolong the inevitable. No sense staying on a sinking ship when there's a lifeboat, you know? I'll give them my 2 weeks, but then after that...
She makes a zooming motion with her arm.
I'm out of here. Maybe I'll run into you two on the road out there.
I hope so. We can meet up and swap road stories and share pictures.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I clear my throat.
Speaking of the road,
Marina shifts beside me, standing up a little straighter.
About time to be getting back on it?
yeah, I think so. Hope that's not too sudden.
Nah, not at all. I figured you were on your way out the door soon. I still need to get ready for my shift, too.
Cool. Although, hey,
I glance at Marina, who peers back at me curiously.
you should let us have your number. I've been thinking about maybe getting a phone.
With explosive speed, Marina goes from leaning against me into a full-on hug with that trademark intensity that I love so much about her. Cassie smirks, but to her credit, doesn't make the obvious joke about asking for her number.
Sure thing. I'd love to stay in touch.
She and Marina quickly trade numbers, and I promise to send a message once I have a phone on my own setup. The three of us are headed for the front door when suddenly Cassie jolts to a halt.
Oh, I almost forgot.
Forgot what?
Give me like 2 seconds.
She hurries back to the kitchen, leaving Marina and I alone. A few seconds of silence pass before we both look at each other and laugh.
Well,
Okay then.
Marina browses through these shelves while we wait. She snoops through the mixed chocolates and inspects the jelly bean flavors. She spots the basket that has these scorpion-embedded candies in them and peers over the edge curiously, using her phone as a flashlight. Its beam hits the contents. Seconds later, she scrambles away like one of them was going to sting her.
Oh my god, gross.
I start to laugh. But then, when she stands up, my breath is stolen. The overhead lights are off, although a decent amount of light still streams in through the candy-painted windows. The sunlight hits Marina's hair at just at the right angle to make it sparkle, and when she catches me looking, catches me looking, she just smiles, her whole face lighting up too. The last time we left Las Vegas, it was the lights from the city. It was the lights from the city illuminating Marina's face that I remember. I know that this time in the future, it'll be the other way around.
What are you looking at, punk?
you.
Cutie.
Amber!
She swats at me, but I grab her hand and lace our fingers together.
What? It's true.
I tug her towards me for a quick kiss, and then she steps away a couple of steps.
Who's the dork now?
I guess we both are.
I can live with that.
The kitchen door suddenly crashes open.
Okay.
Like it was just like murders the mood. It just like a hard stop on the music. She's carrying 2 large items.
Here. A token of my sincere gratitude and thanks.
She sets down one bag and then hands me a heavy package that's been quickly wrapped in pink tissue paper and secured with rubber bands.
Actually, it might end up being more like a curse or torment. Go ahead and open it.
I hand the gift to Marina, who greedily grabs at it with claw-like hands. She threads through the paper, leaving confetti-like scraps on the ground and nearly dropping the whole thing in the process. In seconds, she's fully unwrapped the present and holds it so we both can see. Glass bottle with red and white stripes like a candy cane running up and down it. The liquid inside is a muddled color? Muddled, whatever. Some sort of darker color that can't decide if it wants to be pink or not. Okay, so it's this mixed up color. There you go. Off the vine, peppermint wine reads the label. I'm horrified. But to Marina, it looks like Cassie may as well offered her another piece of gold.
This is for us?
Yep, a farewell gift. Fair warning, it's been sitting in the back for God knows how long. Boss brought it in for some promo event forever ago. But anyway, it's wine, so isn't it supposed to get better with age? Or something like that?
Something like that.
I'm dubious of wine to begin with, and the idea of adding peppermint just makes it sound even worse. But Marina's clearly dying to try it, so I'm sure I'll end up drinking some later tonight.
Here, this will make it a bit less obvious.
She hands Marina a Sweet Tooth branded shopping bag made of heavy paper with a handle.
Also this.
The second bag also she passes to Marina is a plastic sack absolutely full of gummy peach rings.
You're a saint, Cassie.
I don't know about that, but you're welcome.
Marina places both of her new treasures in the bag that Cassie gave her.
Thanks for everything.
Pleasure's all mine, believe me. You two have given me a lot to think about.
Hell yeah. We step out the front door into the sunlight, Cassie following behind Marina and I. She locks the door behind us. Finally, we've reached the hardest part. The part where the three of us stand there, nobody knowing who would say goodbye first. I take charge and clear my throat.
So...
Yeah. Yeah, so... It was good to see you again. And it was really nice to meet you, Marina.
It was nice meeting you too. Sorry, I was such a downer at first.
It's fine, it's fine. No hard feelings, right?
Definitely not.
Cool.
A second passes and then Marina darts forward to give Cassie a quick hug. Cassie momentarily stunned, but then she smiles and hugs Marina back.
Sorry, I should have asked if you're the hugging type first.
It's cool. I am.
They separate and then Cassie faces me.
I'm not the hugging type.
Instead, I offer my hand, which Cassie shakes with a grin.
I figured.
It was good to see you too. I hope we'll run into each other again sometime.
Yeah. I've got a feeling that we will. A road trip does sound kind of nice.
Well, until then.
Take care.
See you guys later.
Ooh. That shot, though. Hello, Cassie. Cassie waves, and as we start to walk away, she keeps waving. When we cross the road and look back, she's still waving. She waves until we're out of sight. She's out of sight, sorry. A moment later, I double back just to check. But she's already gone. Some serious knocking going on.
Tess, I'm so sorry, Tess.
Oh yeah, there it is. Amber shuffles around behind me. Her voice is like a whisper. I think she's trying to make up for all of my crying.
Babe, you're making a scene. Didn't Tess message you last night and say it was okay to drop by?
Yeah, but that doesn't make forgetting about her right.
The same bag Cassie gave us the wine in swings from my other hand, except now it's stuffed with confetti paper and has Tess presents in it.
I think she'll understand. Now, can you lower the volume? You're gonna wake up the other weirdos who sleep in casino parking lots.
Tap, tap, tap. I soften my knock a little. Their RV is just as big a monster as it was a month ago, but being surrounded by other big RVs in an even bigger parking lot makes it not as scary. The only thing that's scary now is how I must have disappointed her. With a click, the door unlocks, the stepping stool slides up with a hum, Amber steps away, way away. Tess cracks open the door and poking half of her big ol' head out.
Marina?
I swing the door and the rest of the way open, climb up the steps, and lock her into a hug.
Happy birthday, Tess!
As I squeeze her, I lift her off the ground, twirl her around. She can't weigh more than a cat. I could do this for hours. It's great. While spinning, I catch a glimpse of Joe raising an eyebrow. By the time I spin around again, he's grinning.
I'm so sorry I forgot to meet up with you. Can you forgive me?
You mean you really didn't forget on purpose?
Huh? Why would I ever do that? That'd be such a mean thing to do on your birthday.
I plop her back down on the ground. She looks away as she comes up with words to say.
I'm freaky. Maybe I scared you. What? Who made you think that I would kick their butt up and down the strip? You're way too nice, sweetie. But I wanted to make sure I saw you at least once.
Tess has never been really expressive, but that's okay since we're all different. But her eyes look like they're shining as she stares up at me. She rushes back in for another hug.
No one. Thanks for coming.
Usually she's pale, but right now her face looks pink, a little puffy. It's new. It's like just like the dog tag necklace she's wearing. Kids really do grow up fast.
What's that?
She breaks away and points down at the bag in my hand.
Oh, you interested?
I dangle it over her and tease. No kid can resist presents, not even Tess.
It might be a little something for you. Might.
That's okay. You don't have to lie.
Wait, no, they're actually your presents.
I was about to say, don't tease, man. She doesn't get that. Don't do that. Her eyes get huge. I think she notices she was staring, because after a couple of seconds, she looks away and her pink cheeks get even pinker. It's cute. Cutie. Sorry, whatever.
You don't have to lie.
Come on now. Tell the kid the truth. You really brought those presents here for me.
Otto, you're great, but I barely even know you.
Oh, that's gonna leave a mark.
I smile at him, just a little teasing. Sometimes you can tell someone's a good person just by looking at him, like with Amber. And I think Joe's the same way. He gets brownie points for looking after Tess, at least. Man, you don't even know. Joe is like the best guy ever. We both lean in for a quick hug. I can tell he's trying not to squeeze me too hard, but his muscles still somehow squeeze through his baggy jumpsuit.
It's good to see you, Joe.
Nice to see you too, Marina. It's been a minute. Amber not with you?
I point my thumb at the door.
Oh, she's just outside.
I whimper, I whisper, don't want her hearing me.
Just a little nervous, you know?
She's still heard? Oh my god. Amber yells from outside. Oops, because I wasn't quiet enough.
Ah, I think I understand the situation.
Joe walks over and sticks his head out the door.
Relax, it's safe. Mariah's AWOL right now. She never came back last night.
Oh, thank God.
Aren't you worried about her, Joe?
She's like a cat. She'll come back when she's hungry.
Amber stomps up the steps and gives a relieved sigh.
Hey, you guys. I hope we aren't interrupting anything.
She drops my heels at my feet. Oh, I guess she took off her shoes, I guess. Anyway, and puts her arm around me. Dang, she's smooth.
Nah, you're fine. We're just winding down after the convention. You ladies win, right?
Sure did. Got to smell every type of nerd under the sun.
Amber's hand drops down to wrap around mine.
It was a good experience, though.
We both smile, and if it wasn't for the fact that it would be really awkward for the other two, I just keep staring into her eyes. Speaking of the other two, Tess is just standing here now. She always gets left behind in these conversations. I hope she doesn't feel left out. Nudging Amber, I glance at her, then Tess, her, Tess, her, Tess. Get the picture, Amber! She finally gets the idea, looks down at her. Amber isn't even that much taller than me, but when Tess looks up at her, it reminds me of Jack and the Beanstalk. The silence is almost as awkward as they are.
So,
Yes?
what did you do
Where?
at the convention?
I cried.
Oh.
Oh my god, they are so awkward. Wow, she's not wrong.
Happy birthday.
Solid. Well done, Amber. Good lord. Oh my god, I have to stop this. Marina, please.
Cried? Does that mean you didn't have a good time?
I crouch down to meet Tess again, but this time I boop Amber, or bop Amber. Well, I mean, that's boop. There's two O's. I boop Amber out of the way with my butt. Seriously, she has no idea how to talk to kids.
I felt a lot about a little.
I look to Joe for answers, but Amber has already beaten me to it. If anything happened to this precious angel, there would be heck to pay. Heck!
Translate.
We both did a little growing up. That's all.
That doesn't sound like that doesn't sound like a good time to me.
Alrighty!
All three of them jump back a little. Maybe I should have used my inside voice.
That settles it. Me and you are gonna go do something fun while we open your gift.
Tess tilts her head.
Just us?
Uh-huh. Only as long as you want to.
She nods her head so fast, I'm scared it might roll off.
Is that okay, Joe? We won't go very far, just along the strip.
That's all fine and dandy to me. Treat her to a better time than I could, will ya?
It's a deal.
If Amber had more than 2 eyebrows, she would still be raising all of them. What a worrywart.
Please.
She grumbles or grunts. A gruntle? Another gruntle. She closes her eyes. Her forehead is pulsing like a heart that's had too much coffee. But that might be just because she drinks too much coffee.
Pretty please. With your favorite bribe on top?
She gives us a defeated sigh, then smirks.
Just don't get roped into any poker games.
It's a deal. Or, it's a deal that I won't make a deal. But okay.
Amber cringes, but there are no take-backsies in love, and so she doesn't do any complaining. She bats Tess's head once. It makes a thud sound.
Keep her out of trouble, kid.
Tess gives a salute, but I just poke my tongue out at Amber.
In the meantime, how about you and me get into trouble?
If that's your attempt at flirting with me, I'm kicking you.
I'll let you think whatever you want. But I was talking about Mariah's beer stash. Since she's not here, we have it all to ourselves.
Oh, hell yeah. Let's drink all our imports.
I knew we had a connection.
I hope she doesn't have too much fun. I still want to try Cassie's peppermint wine.
Those two get along well.
Tess watches them as they scramble to the fridge. God, even when she's just looking at something, she's cute. I need my Tess fix so I can bring in close for another squeeze. So I bring in close for another squeeze. So true, Marita. So true. I love Tess more than anything.
Not as well as us, though. You ready to see the sights?
She wedges her arm out of my cobra hug and pumps her fist in the air. She's so cute. I can't take it.
Oh!
They're both so cute. I can't take it. Me and Tess stop underneath one advertising a sushi place. The window is lit up. It's so pretty, like Christmas in the desert. We walk a little further and stop under a green sign. This one is for a movie theater. A group of friends around my age stare at us and snicker under their breaths while walking into the theater. What do they know?
Vegas sure is pretty, huh, Tess?
Mm-hmm. And everything is always open. Back home, all the stores closed at 5.
Same. Not that there was anything to do except go to youth group and pretend to have fun.
Youth group? Is that a game?
Yeah, it's just not possible. No one could be this adorable. I know, right? For what I'm pretty sure is the millionth and second time today, I dragged Tess into a hug. She's nothing but skin and bone, but it's still somehow soft. She's such a mystery.
Ah, you're impossibly cute. How do you exist?
I don't know. No one knows. It's a very existential question.
But an honest one. Oh, you're so cute I could just eat you up.
That's cannibalism.
Even if it is, she just keeps letting me hold her, only blinking while I continue to squeeze, twirl, and hug.
So, Tess,
So, Mina.
where do you want to eat?
Why?
Because it's your birthday, duh. You need to be treated.
I see.
Tess puts a finger to her chin like a wise sage.
Sis showed me some buffets we can sneak into.
How about we get food through not scary legal ways, okay?
Why are you teaching this child, Mariah? Why do you corrupt her fragile mind like this?
No money.
Girl, I got you my treat.
Thank you for your pity.
It's not pity, silly. I'm doing this for the same reason we got you a gift. You're my friend, and I care about you.
She says it like it's like the word is new to her, and for her sake, I hope it's not. It is.
That's right. There are tons of places to eat around here. Do you see anything you might like?
Tess spins around in a circle, stopping right where she began.
Option. Paralysis.
Want me to choose?
She nods.
Okie dokie. Let's see.
I scan the perimeter, like a spy or just a very hungry girl. Tess is right, though. There are so many places to eat. You could be here for a whole year and not get through everything. Guess there's only one way to handle this.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by... Ooh, that one.
I grab Tess by the hand and pull her behind me. Her feet drag on the concrete as I rush down the sidewalk.
Here.
Tess looks up at the purple and blue and baby blue neon sign. It's of the abominable snowman, and his teeth are waffle cones instead of fangs.
Yeti face.
Yep, I forced Amber to take me to one of these in Tucson. You can only have so many diner shakes before craving something new, you know?
She stares at the poster in the window. A fluffy pink block sits in a paper bowl, a green spoon sticking out of it.
Ice cream.
Kinda, sorta, not really.
Snow cone.
It's like the cousin of the snow cone.
I don't get it.
Neither do I, but once you try it, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it.
Tess gets quiet, real quiet. She looks at the ground and kicks an old wrapper drifting by.
Do you think they have mint?
I love Tess, like, more than life itself. She's too precious for this world. Far too precious for this world. We sit on the edge of the bench.
Get set.
Tess grips her spoon. I bring the bowl closer to me. It gives me a speed advantage. We plunge our spoons into the flaky snow. Tess digs out against about a teaspoon, but mine looks like it's holding as much as a shovel could. I open my mouth so wide a train could run through it, then chomp down on the spoon. Tess slips hers between her lips. The creamy strawberry flavor takes over my entire mouth. All I want to do is savor it. But there's a contest to win. Tess is already diving in for another spoonful. Drat! Time to use my trump card. I pick up my pace before she's even done chewing. I have my own spoonful in my mouth. It's my special scooping technique. Come on, come on, come on. How long is it gonna take? It happens. My head feels like it was just hit with a snowball. The cold would even be too much for a polar bear. Tess winces and clutches her head. That was close. It was almost a photo finish.
I win.
It's hard to celebrate when there's a blizzard in your skull, but I still pump my fist in victory. She sounds hurt, but I can't tell if it's because of the pain in her head or the pain in her heart.
That's okay. Just means you have more brain to freeze than me. The size of Antarctica? Think bigger. It's like a
Is Alaska bigger than Antarctica? I don't think so. I'm only half joking too. Tess is pretty smart. Still, I'm happy that she's silly enough to do brain freeze contests with me. Amber always eats like a turtle.
So, how is it?
Tess's treat is an aqua green. Honestly, it sort of looks like toothpaste.
It's more like snow than ice cream. It's flaky but still melts. I like it. Yay! I knew you would. How's yours? Delicious. Wanna try?
She eyes my bowl. Her face bunches up like she's thinking hard.
It's strawberry. That's a problem. I've never had strawberry flavor anything before. What?
She flinches. I almost rocket out of my seat and into outer space.
That's crazy. You have to try it now. It's almost as good as chocolate or s'mores.
Tess looks at the bowl like it's something strange, something unnatural, like it might eat her instead.
Are you trying mine too? Sure, it'll be like a treat.
We wipe off our spoons and take turns getting a scoop out of each other's bowls. To prove to Tess that I'm not trying to trick her or anything, I take the first bite. It's a little overpowered by the leftovers taste of strawberry. Actually, it's really overpowered by the taste of strawberry. It's as strong as Amber's mouthwash. Weird, weird, weird. Convinced that I'm not trying to poison her, Tess eats hers first. Next, sorry. Her face puckers.
It's very sweet.
I should have realized how that would mix. Oops.
Not a great flavor combo, huh? Like sis and Amber.
It's so true. I can't help but laugh. Sorry, babe. Tess doesn't laugh, but she does smile a little. I don't think she realizes how funny she is.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling the mint right now either. Still glad I tried it though. Even if you didn't like it? Well, yeah. Because maybe I'll try it again sometime and change my mind. And even if I don't, I still have the experience. That's what makes new things so exciting.
I give her a smile, but she doesn't seem very assured. She grabs her necklace and doesn't let go.
New things make me nervous. I can't blame you there. When I left home to go treasure hunting, I was crazy nervous. Anxious? I can't tell.
I shoot her a wink.
That's because I'm really good at hiding it. But every day there's at least one thing that makes me a teeny bit nervous. Heck, I was nervous all of yesterday. Your life sounds terrifying. I don't know about that. Maybe a little uncertain, and that can be scary. But I think that's all the more reason to face them head on.
Even with all this gold, there's still a lot of uncertainty. Things that I'm going to do with the rest of my life. Like, things like, what am I going to do with the rest of my life? Or whether me and Amber are going to be okay a month from now, or always going to follow me. But I'd rather be certainly unsure than unsure if I'm certain.
I love my family a whole lot. Back in New Mexico, I felt cramped, squeezed, suffocated. Yes, that one. So even though I love them, just being there made me nervous. It felt like things would never change. Like I would never change.
Tess patiently noms on her snow cream while listening. My own bowl is starting to get a bit too liquidy for my taste, so I take a few more bites.
On the other other hand, my mind would get all foggy when I thought about leaving. I knew my life at home wasn't bad, but there was always a part of me thinking...
Thinking what?
that I could make it better.
Is it?
Don't know yet, but like with your myth thingy, I'm glad I did it. Because it's better than doing nothing. Even if my dad says it's irresponsible.
I do the best bunny ear quotes and already feel 1,000 times more like Amber. Tess looks down at her bowl. It's almost empty. Down the street, a man in a sparkly tuxedo is climbing a ladder in front of the movie theater. He has a box of letters with him and is replacing the tiles on the marquee with new ones. If that's how you say that.
I wish I could change.
But I like you just the way you are.
Her eyes get just as wide as the bowls. She scoots closer to me.
Some parts of me are okay. Maybe. Others aren't.
It breaks my heart when she feels that way about herself, but I think I get it.
Well, you don't have to leave home and start dating a stranger you met on the side of the road. Actually, you probably shouldn't.
Noted.
But instead, it can be like a gradual thing. The little differences are the biggest ones.
Aren't the biggest differences the biggest ones? Isn't that what makes them big?
You're too young to be this lateral.
Literal.
That too.
Amber might not know how to talk to her, but Tess really does act like a tiny version of her sometimes.
Anyway, just take it one day at a time. Neither of us are gonna change overnight.
No one does, not me or even Amber. It's an effort, always and forever, but that's fine.
Very frustrating.
Only if you think of it that way. But to me, it just means that we're always becoming better versions of ourselves.
Tess goes quiet, and I hope that means my rambling made sense and I didn't just bore her. I think personal experience is the best way to grow, but looking back, I really wish people would have told me these things too. Still, I take that as a sign that it's time for us to move this conversation along. I hoist up the bags with her gifts in it and set it on my lap.
So, you ready to open presents?
Her head perks up like a dog that just saw a squirrel.
I am prepared.
That's what
I am prepared. That's what I like to hear. I hand off the bag to her. She grabs it by the handles and lets it dangle awkwardly in front of her.
Hope you're okay with tissue paper this time. I'll try wrapping it next year.
She doesn't seem very bothered by it. Instead, Tess peers into the bag looking for any small glimpse it might offer.
Go on. Open it.
I smile to reassure her that she's not going to get in trouble and that there's no wrong way to open a present. With great caution, she takes one sheet out at a time and sets them on the bench. A couple end up blowing down the sidewalk. She finally gives me what I've been waiting for since we finished this last night and reaches her short arms all the way in, then lifts the box out. Wow. Good God, they made that too. Good Lord, they're skilled. Etched into the lid and the sides are the sunflowers that I drew and Amber carved out. Wow, that's very skillful. The wood, once splintered and rough, is now smooth and glossy. Amber really went all out on it. She sanded it, painted it to look like cedar, then she even gave it a fresh coat of primer. Amber, who knew?
Where did you get this?
Tess brushes her fingers over the sunflowers, then moves them to her name. They did carve her name. We carved it in one of the corners. I wanted it to be bigger, but Amber said it would be too gaudy. Looking at it now, I think I agree.
Me and Amber made it last night. We used one of the boxes we found the miner's treasure in.
It looks real. Like it's
It does look like that.
Would it be fake if it didn't look professional?
Yes. It wouldn't exist.
I snort out a laugh. It reminds me of something my older brother Devin said when he got his wisdom teeth pulled. Stuff about how people stop existing when they aren't in front of him.
Amber's to thank for that. I only drew the design. She did all the hard stuff. It was all her idea, too.
So, she's secretly nice?
The nicest. She's just always nervous and it makes
That's
her
true.
crabby.
It's more complicated than that, but I don't want to bore Tess with our drama.
Look inside!
Hey! Tess fiddles with the latch we added and flips open the lid. She takes out a little pocket guide and a pack of seeds.
This will let me grow sunflowers?
Figured since you're getting older, you might want something that can grow with you.
She sets them back down in the box, then sadly shuts the lid as if it were a coffin.
What's wrong? Do you not like it?
I love. This is my first birthday getting gifts.
feels good, but it also feels bad.
First birthday with gifts? Tess, you're actually gonna make me cry.
How can presents make you feel bad? 'Cause I've been lying to you.
She bows her head and takes a breath.
My real birthday is actually tomorrow.
It was peaceful within the trio's RV. Not a creature was stirring, not even a louse. Joe rested in his favorite spot on the couch, the cushions arranged just how he liked them. Not far away, Tess sat with a small smile as she read through Marina's most recent texts. Serenity. That's, I don't know why my brain just could not understand. Serenity and quiet were rarely found in a place like this. That silence was about to be shattered.
Wake up, you slackers! You've got work to do!
The door hadn't even finished being kicked open before Mariah began shouting. She strolled in with the self-confidence that only alcohol can bring. From one hand dangled 2/3 of a six-pack, from the other, a bag full of junk. Both rattled as she slammed them onto the table.
Where have you been?
It's been an entire day.
His goggles were pulled down over his eyes, blocking sunlight and the rest of the world from his vision. As long as he didn't remove them, he could pretend that Mariah was just a disembodied voice and not really there.
Tracking down all the spots in Vegas that give out free booze?
Where the heck did you sleep?
Dunno. Woke up in a bathroom at the Bellagio.
Ugh, you're a real Renaissance woman, Mariah. I didn't know they sold beer at the swap meet.
Don't gotta tell me twice. Here, I found this junk for the squirt.
Sounds really sentimental.
But he raised his goggles all the same and leaned in to see what Mariah had brought. Tess also watched, her curiosity piqued. Mariah tossed the junk unceremoniously. Tess barely caught it. She sat it down on her lap. It took a moment for her to register what she was looking at. A glistening strip of metal with its letters fresh and legible. The word Kansas were stamped on top of a pattern of sunflowers.
Did you have that one yet?
No, I've been looking.
You got 'em all now?
Not yet.
But this one's got a sunflower on it. That makes it better, right?
Tess looked at the license plate, then she looked at her desperate sister.
It does.
It was true. Other than the red bandana on her head, this was the only gift her sister had ever given to her. It could have just been a license plate, but she already had, and it would have still been precious.
It's too bad, Mariah. The first nice gesture you've ever done. You were beat to the punch by Amber and Marina. Again.
What do you mean by that? Hey, Squirt, what does he mean by that?
They made me a gift.
She pointed at the counter across the room. Her personalized box was opened, already filled with damp soil.
I grow sunflowers now.
You're kidding. You actually took it? So thieves probably stole it.
They made it for me special.
Tess purposely avoided mentioning that it had been crafted from one of the boxes the miner's treasure had been found in. It would make things more complicated and louder.
Don't break it.
Eh? Why the hell would I want to break your crummy little...
Promise. Don't break it.
Mariah looked down at Tess, as she did with most people. Her sister's usual blank eyes were firm and fixed on her. Heaving a heavy sigh, Mariah placed her hand over her chest.
I, Mariah Pastorius, swear on my old hag mother's grave that I won't break your dumb box that's subjectively less cool than the license plate I got you.
Even when you're drunk?
Mariah resisted the urge to cross her fingers, her toes too.
Even when I'm drunk. There! You happy?
Tess nodded.
Anyway, enough of that garbage. What I've got here in this bag is gonna change the course of our lives forever. The scumsucker I bought this garbage off of had no idea what they had.
Mariah cackled, the sound like beer cans rattling in the trash. She untied the bag and poured everything in it onto the coffee table. It was a collection of necklaces and jewelry, earrings and false teeth. If it was shiny, Mariah wanted it. Sunlight snuck in through the RV's tinted windows, bouncing off the assorted trash Mariah had collected. The spell was broken by Joe's words. He ignored Mariah's flurry of insults as he crawled forward to inspect the treasure more closely.
You watch your filthy hands! Every second your finger touches that thing drives its value down.
I don't think that's gonna be much of a loss. Stuff isn't worth squat to begin with.
What?
Mariah's squawk would put a parrot to shame.
The only ain't worst squad as you. Maybe you should put those goggles back on because there's clearly something wrong with your vision.
What do you think, kid?
Tess climbed out of her cot like a monkey swinging off a tree. She began sorting through the pile of bad choices.
Alright. This is worthless. And this. Oh. This is pretty. But it's trash too.
Silence returned to the RV once more, but this time it wasn't peaceful. Instead, it was the calm before the storm, which Tess thought would surely take the form of smoke from her sister's ears. Mariah's reply began as a primal scream that shifted into something more.
What do you mean by trash? This is a genuine treasure, and it's worth at least...
At least what? Just how much did you pay for all this?
Mariah mumbled a response.
What?
She said $300.
What? Where did you get that kind of money?
I had about 99 cents left over, so I hit the slots. And guess what?
No.
My legendary good luck kicked in, and I won the small jackpot.
For real? Mariah, that's amazing. Our money issues are solved.
Then I spent it on the treasure.
Joe just sighed.
You just destroyed every piece of good karma you got from getting your sister a gift.
Well, if someone had given me my fair share, then I wouldn't have had to settle for something like this.
No, you would have ended up wasting even more money.
It's not a waste if it makes more money, and you know that if we...
A relative peace returned to the RV, even if it was far from silent. It was loud and it was noisy, but it was a familiar chaos. That alone counted for a lot to Tess. She watched as they bickered, Mariah's voice rising and falling like a siren, while Joe maintained his cool composure. Even if they didn't always feel like a family, Tess knew that they were. Even now, Mariah was planning their next heist, spelling out just how to turn this loss into another gain. It rarely worked, in fact, almost never, but maybe that was okay, Tess thought. Life had its down times. It was mostly down times, but sometimes things were up. There was Marina to text and license plates to collect. There was plenty to look forward to. She hugged her new license plate tightly, breathing in the smell of time and experience. It was a reminder of a bigger world out there and many more sights to see. It wasn't much, but for now, it was enough. Oh, hell yeah! That's awesome! My heart, dude! My freaking heart! I can't take it!
I still can't get over the fact that this thing has a keyboard on it. It's like a tiny computer.
Wow, a tiny keyboard. Imagine. What are these newfound electronics gonna think of next?
Babe, please. Phones haven't had keyboards since I was in middle school.
Huh? Why'd they stop? This is cutting edge stuff.
I flipped the clamshell phone open and shut, a number pad on the front and a keyboard on the inside, each with a corresponding screen. 2 screens!
Well, if you've been listening to cassette tapes all your life, I guess it would seem like it.
She gives me a smile that's brighter than any of the lights outside the hotel window. Combined with the rare sight of her hair completely down, it's like seeing a whole new Marina.
I'm happy you like it.
I slink back into my chair and pray that my face is only getting red because of how much of Cassie's terrible peppermint wine I've had. Between that and depleting Mariah's beer stock, I must be a bigger heavyweight than I thought.
Yeah, well, it was about time I got one. Stubbornness for the sake of stubbornness just makes you lose track of the important things.
Oh, so you admit you were being stubborn.
Marina's eyebrows bounce up and down. She wiggles closer to my chair, her glass of wine sloshing around in her hand.
Don't give me that. I confess up to my mistakes. When I feel like it.
She giggles. It's genuine and it's a relief.
Speaking of mistakes,
But that genuine smile dissolves into genuine distress.
can we talk about how your phone looks like it was bedazzled by a homeschooled 12-year-old?
That's a mean thing to say about Tess.
Oops, sorry, Tess. I meant homeschooled 10-year-old.
It's true, though. Good lord. It's true, though. Craft jewelry and plastic gemstones have been glued to it with a paste mixture of what I can only assume is pixie dust and glitter, but calling it that is a little harsh. It's barely noticeable.
It's not that bad. Has character. Besides, your phone is all girly too.
My phone is cute. This one just
A grimace casts her face into shadow.
disturbs me.
Be as disturbed as you want. I'm as as much of a bargain hunter as I am a treasure hunter, and this thing was a steal.
A newer phone would have cost way too much, and we already had to buy a new one for Marina a couple weeks ago. Though I get the vibe that the stuff at the store was sad to see it go, they brought it on a throw pillow, like they had a shrine on the back for it.
I guess I'll just have to count my blessings and take this as a victory for now.
Oh, whose victory is it?
I press the big circular button on the front and a flash goes off. When my vision settles, Marina's pupils are as big as her head.
What?
New wallpaper.
In celebration, I give the phone a little shake. A shade of pink sizzles across her face. She lunges at the phone, but stops herself when she realizes her wine is starting to spill.
No fair! You can't just do that, Amber. I'm in my jammies, not wallpaper material.
I'm in my jammies. That's so cute. Can't take it. Too cute.
That's funny, because I seem to recall you doing the same thing.
Don't you even.
Multiple times.
Delete it!
Her voice is hoarse and husky. A futile intimidation tactic. She has no power here.
How about I send it to you instead?
Amber, no! If you do, I'll have to send you a bunch of texts until I can't see it anymore.
Dang. Sucks that I'll have to put you through that.
Amber!
I flip open the phone and stare at the screen.
Oh. It's a selfie.
She's like, no! Damn it!
Do I really have a double chin?
Marina leans in and plants a kiss on my cheek. She snatches the phone and tosses it on the bed behind us.
No. And even if you did, it would just mean there's more.
Aw, that's adorable. Aw. That's so adorable! She finishes her little gambit by sliding onto my lap. Something tells me this was her plan all along. The chair is only for one person, but it's big and cushy enough to fit the two of us. Most of the furniture in this room is. Marina is always heavier than I remember. The weight of her thigh alone is big enough to cut off the blood flow to my lower body. But I like it. She's like a warm pillow that I just want to squeeze. I practically melt whenever she's close like this. Raising a glass, she smiles an expectant smirk. Ah, what the hell. This stuff is liquid trash fire, but I'm enjoying myself too much to kill the mood. I raise my glass too. We clank them both together.
Cheers.
Cheers!
She chuckles and takes a sip. I cringe and say a prayer for my health. Unlike Marina, I take a couple of big gulps, not because I like it, but because I just want to finish it and end my suffering. Seriously, this crap tastes like cleaning solution that was fermented with a rotting candy cane.
Ooh, makes me feel all warm and fuzzy. Is all alcohol like this?
Varying degrees of terrible? Pretty much. Some of it is better than others.
Actually, I kind of like it.
You're kidding.
I mean, sure, the first few sips are blank. Really blank. But then you're all relaxed and it starts tasting like Christmas.
I decided to just let her enjoy it and not tease her about it. The fact that she can actually enjoy it probably makes her more grown up than me anyway. In fact, Marina might be the more mature of us, period. Every day she surprises me more and more. In a way, it's kind of sad. She's never going to be the same sheltered Marina from when we first met. And when I look at her now, with her hair down and draped over her shoulders and holding that glass, well, I start to think that maybe she never really was. Maybe I'm finally starting to see the real Marina. Maybe I'm really loving the real one, too.
When we're both a few years older, maybe we can start expanding our palettes. But for now, this is still a crime, and you're still a criminal.
You know what that makes you then, right?
What's that?
My partner in crime.
You make us sound cooler than we actually are.
I can pretend to be a cynic, but that's not going to keep my heart from fluttering when she says stuff like that.
Forget about Bonnie and Clyde. We're Bonnie and Bonnie. Two star-crossed outlaws on the run.
On the run, huh?
The words slip out of me as I echo them back to her. We both stare out the window into the glistening streets of Vegas. Neon floods the streets from every corner, but if you look beyond that, into the dark, you can make out the glowing silhouettes of the desert and its jagged mountains.
Where are we running to next, then?
Marina looks down, considering this. I mull it over too. It's strange, not having anything to run from, only towards. Finally, Marina looks up.
I don't think it matters.
She nuzzles herself closer to me. She smiles, turning from the window to gaze at me instead.
As long as I'm with you, I'm exactly where I want to be.
Aww. Hell yeah. Oh, that's awesome. 10 out of 10. An hour and 19 minutes over. Oh, all right. So that would have been still a short, but a decent second, third episode, really. But crap, dude, that's what happens when you play stuff blind. You make choices, you make decisions like that. Anyway. Also, this song kind of slaps. What's up with that? Anyway, that was awesome. That was awesome. It was really cool doing something blind, and I loved the story. It had a lot of the moments that made Highway Blossom so great to begin with, but without like the crash that was that bad. You know what I mean? Because I've mentioned this before, but in general, I prefer Heart of the Woods to Highway Blossoms. Now, in general, I favor that because in that one there is like drama, but it's not like an icky, I'm like leeching off your soul, your heart is in pain, the feels are killing you drama. You know what I mean? Like, there is a crash, but it's not as bad, and it's not this huge fight, and it just hits different. You know what I mean? It just, and in general, it's a fantasy setting, and you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But this, it had the moments that were good, and there were big learning, teaching moments of them finally talking. But it didn't have that, like, super big, like, signing up for stupidity drama. Like, in the first one, when Amber did so many dumb things and they had this huge blowout fight, it was so much worse because, like lots of fights and lots of entertainment, it's completely unnecessary. So unnecessary. And in real life, too, for that matter. But it's really unnecessary. Just talking would have fixed it. And if they just said it like it was, it would have just fixed it. Like, so much about lots of problems just stems from communication, and that's it. Or whatever. So, this one, it had the moments that made Highway Blossoms originally so awesome without the huge crash of pain and sorrow. You know what I mean? And it was just super, super cool. And I loved it to death. And super supported it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. It was very cool doing something blind. This is like one of a very few things I do blind. But after doing it and seeing how well it went, I want to do more stuff blind, and that was awesome. I don't know what we're going to do next. I don't know what we're going to do next for sure. I have not given it almost any thought, to be honest. I was more wrapped up in doing this. So I don't know for sure, but I have a lot of stuff that is, on my Steam wish list and stuff I already own that I've never done. So there's lots of amazing potential there. And then I have a plethora of stuff on Xbox and stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to do next, but we will see. And stay tuned. And we still have an unknown amount of distance to go on Fallout 4. And there is lots of good. I don't know how far I'm going with that. Obviously we need to finish main story, and there's stuff to do there still. But so I don't know what's going to come after that one either. So I have a few thoughts on what's going to come after Fallout 4, but not so much what's going to come after this. So we'll see. Regardless, that was just so good. That was so good. I loved that a lot. That was awesome. Absolutely worth it. I got that on sale for, I think it was like, oh, that's awesome. Love that to death. Anyway, I got it on sale. It was worth it, super worth it on sale, and honestly super worth it even if it wasn't on sale. Highly worth it. Cannot recommend it enough. And that's awesome. That is awesome. Now, I am curious though. Legacy content? No. That's not what I want. Let me out of this. Okay. DLC content. No. It won't be under preferences. I need to find that. Maybe it's under gallery. Yay, it's Marina's thoughts. What the heck are these? So this is the cassette. I think we might just poke around really quick and just take a peek at these really quick. Amber's grandpa's favorite tape, and now it's her favorite. I guess that means it's my favorite too, since it's so important to Amber. I was even lucky enough to hear some of it live at the festival we went to together. That's cute. And then Slushie. Buying this Slushie was the first thing Amber ever did for me. Well, second, since she gave me a ride there too. It's cola flavored, since they never had that flavor in my hometown. And then Hiker's Journal. I wonder what the +1 means. Oh, it means there's like more than one or whatever. The book that started everything. It contains riddles with locations to all the miners' hidden treasure. Without this, I never would have met Amber. And then this is the same one, but like a different version. Gold nugget. This belongs to Joe, but Mariah's the one that spent the most time thinking about it. I guess it's an old family heirloom. It's how Mariah said she knew about the treasure before anyone else. Tess's wind chime. One of Tess's most treasured possessions. She collects license plates and puts them together like this. She said that someday she'll give me one of her wind chimes to keep. That's cute. Diner meal number 1. Amber and I ate this at a diner together. She thought I was weird for dipping my fries in a milkshake. She didn't know that everyone does that. Yeah, my little sister does that. Only one I personally know that does it like frequently. But I mean, it does happen. You know what I mean? I mean, anyone I've heard other than, yeah, whatever. You get the idea. My little sister does that. Treasure hunting tools. We borrowed this from Mariah, and kind of never gave it back, but that's double fair, since she did the same thing with my brother's car. Oh, that's true. I forgot they did that. Gold box. These are what the old miner hid his treasure in. We found a few of them along the way. Gold. Real, honest-to-God gold. At first, I couldn't believe it either. And then camera. I kept this with me for most of our trip. It has some of our favorite memories together. I may have gone a little overboard sometimes, though, like when we saw the world's tallest thermometer. Okay, so this is coloring pages. Okay, so growing up, I would always get super frustrated when I saw other kids coloring outside the lines. It's like, why can't you slow down, stay in the lines? It's not that hard. It'll look prettier. It'll make you you'll be happier. It doesn't look right. Ugh. Anyway, I have a girlfriend now. You're toast. When Amber made that pun, I groaned. But the truth is, I was actually thinking about doing the same thing. Fortunately, I ended up making a better one. Sam I. Amber is still the proudest I've ever been of a joke. Amber was always so grumpy when we first met. Those eggs may as well have been a bit of portrait. Yeah, that's kind of true. Diner meal number 2. My favorite breakfast in the world. The pancakes were chocolate and had chocolate chips, and the chocolate milk was homemade. Can't you tell that I like chocolate? That's true. Brochure. Arches National Park is so pretty. I wish we could have spent more time sightseeing than sitting in traffic. It's weird, though. This brochure doesn't mention chip off the old block, so I'm not sure how Amber knew about it. That's true. Chicken tenders. This is what Tess was eating when we ran into her in Moab. There's so many of them. I bet that Mariah ordered a large size just so she could steal some. Probably. Steak. Mariah ate like an entire cow, and I'm pretty sure that still wasn't enough because I saw her picking at Tess's tendies too. Grilled cheese. Joe's meal of choice in Utah. Does it remind you of him? A grilled cheese and tomato soup isn't the most exciting thing, but it's tasty and reliable. And then sandwich, not that there's anything wrong with these, but those fries would totally go better with a milkshake too. Concert tickets. My heart skipped 2 whole beats when Amber asked me to go to the festival with her. It was the first time I really felt like her girlfriend. And then New Vegas buffet. Later on, Amber told me that she covered all of her food groups in this meal. Steak, chicken, pork, seafood, and everything else. I can't believe she went back for more. She might be the only person I know who gets her money's worth out of a buffet. That's not true. I know a slew of people that do. Gained 5 pounds? Don't care. Would do it again. Atta girl. Stone Coyote. Everything in the motorhome moved around so much when we're driving, so I glued Velcro on the bottom of this to keep it from sliding off the shelf. My heart would be so sad if it broke. And then street portrait. We got this portrait drawn of us the first time we went to Las Vegas. Maybe it isn't the most flattering pic ever, but it was fun, so who cares? Bag of happiness. Amber got these for me our first time in Vegas. They ended up melting together, so we just had a big chain of gummies. We ended up making a kissing game out of it, so I think I would have worked better with spaghetti. That is adorable. These are the kind of thoughts I'm happy I'm reading. Panwich, Amber was right. This is totally my jam. Speaking of jam, this would be amazing with strawberry jelly on top. Diner meal number 3. Amber got this at the same place when I got the pancakes. She might make fun of me, but at least I don't order half the menu. And then Amber's phone. My big sister used to have a phone like this. I remember being so jealous, but looking at it now, it sort of looks like a toy. That's true. Marina's phone, looking much more modern. I got this after me and Amber went to the music festival. My dad would flip if he knew this, but I'm kind of glad Mariah sold my old phone. I dropped it in the bathtub so many times. And then silent auction sheet. Somehow I ended up losing another battle to Mariah in Las Vegas. At least this time the real winner's Tess. That's true. Dog tags. I wonder why Joe wears these all the time. He stopped wearing them recently though. Yep, and now Tess wears them, and my heart feels so happy. Peppermint wine. Cursed? Totally an acquired taste, and not as bad as it sounds. Hopefully next time we can share a glass with Cassie. And And then Rice Krispies. Amber's alien looks so dorky, but I love it because it reminds me of her. Cassie's looks so much nicer than mine, though. Humph. Yeah, well, I mean, your girlfriend was thinking something different, so that's funny. Tessa's phone. Well, I guess it's Mariah's phone, but I'm pretty sure Tess uses it more. Kind of surprised it doesn't have more cracks in it. And then the wallpaper was definitely Tessa's choice. I wonder if she made it herself, because I can't think of anyone else who wants this. Yeah, that's true. And then Dessert Volcano. The Rainforest Cafe was awesome, and sharing a dessert with Amber was the best part. I already know where I want to go for our anniversary. JC Saves. This is the license plate where Mariah picked up for Tess during the convention. Amber doesn't believe me, but I think Mariah is a really thoughtful person. Developer note. This is an old version of the Alaska license plate. Originally, it was Delaware, then Alaska, and finally Kansas. Mariah has a line saying, Kansas is a place so far away, it may not even be real, which was written when it was Alaska. It was funnier to leave the writing untouched. That's funny. That's funny. Okay, well, that's cool. Thanks, Dev. That's cool. I'm happy I knew that. Anyway, it says guest art. Oh, so this is like fan art. Oh, that's fun. Anyway, the CG gallery. My question of this, what do you mean variants? Anyway, my question of this is, oh, okay, I got it. So it's like there's several kinds, like if their eyes are open in one versus another. Whoa, Lord. Anyway, might have to edit that out. It's not better. Hang on a minute. Sorry. Should not browse the CG when should not browse the CG. Maybe I could get away with not editing that one. Damn it. I'm probably gonna have to edit that one. That sucks. It's so much more editing to do. Anyway, I was more wondering, because I was wondering if I could find, this. Interesting, okay. Because, like, there's some of these would be such good wallpapers, but, like, hide UI, fit image, drag to view. Yeah, that's what I'd be curious. But yeah, it looks like you can't just, like, you can right click to get rid of that, which is neat, but, alright, anyway. Return. Anyway, but yeah, so that's funny. Looks at some sweet NSFW content. That's neat. I'm probably gonna have to censor that. Damn it. Anyway, regardless, that was so much fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I enjoyed that immensely. I loved all the real issues that came up during that one. I loved, like, the realness of it all, you know? That one was super, super cool. I loved that Tess is, like, I don't know, like, it fleshed out everybody more. There was so much more context for everybody. And in the first, you know, the regular game, the base game does that already. But, like, they were just so fleshed out. Tess's struggle with, like, depression and feeling happy. And, you know, and Marina's struggle with not feeling equal. And, like, you know, and wanting to not feel like a child. And Amber's struggle with not being thoughtful enough. And, you know, like, I mean, everybody had something. And then Joe, like, learning, like, Joe's backstory, basically. Like, that was awesome. And, like, learning about his struggle with feeling responsible for, like, you know, like, guiding Tess and then everybody through everything they're dealing with. And it was just so good. It was so good. I love this game. Loved the DLC. That was awesome. I want to do more blind stuff on the channel. I want to do more stuff. I just want to do more of that. That was just super, super cool, and I loved that immensely. And I hope you guys did as well. I hope you guys enjoyed. And this video is so stinking long, it's actually disgusting. And I'm going to be so mad at myself in editing. So mad. Here's hoping my new audio balancing is super, super good. And I'm hoping it'll be better. Hopefully it will be. We will see. In post, I will find out very shortly when I start editing. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I have no idea what's coming next, so stick around, and we'll find out together. Anyway, that is going to call it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today, and we will talk to you guys later.